4th. The agenda has doesn't look long, but it actually has, it's going to take us a while, I think. The first item is a public hearing for special permit PB 25-6, which is for 33 Mount Vernon Street / 10 Converse Place. The next business is a ZBA application for 35 Grove Place. We have other business, which includes approval of minutes, board and staff updates, preparation and coordination of tasks necessary for town meeting, and then any additional business. Before I request to open the public hearing, I want to ask, is there anyone here from 35 Grove Place for tonight? Because I was going to take you out of order if you were here, but you're not. So we will, I'd like a motion, request a motion to move into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Carrie?
Aye.
Jack?
Aye.
Nick? Aye. John?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So we are in public hearing. I would like to welcome over, here's the way I was hoping this would go tonight. I'd like to welcome Urban Spaces to the table and update with any updates and changes. We don't really need to, we know a lot of the background, so we don't need to go through all the slides again, but there have been some changes and or additions to the information that we have, and then there's been the digital model that you're going to walk through. After that, I will welcome people for public comment. I want to be clear tonight that because we've had a lot of time for public comment over the past several weeks, I'm going to be much stricter and trying to really keep everybody to 3 minutes so that we can get time to then move on to a discussion among the board. So with that, I'd like to welcome Urban Spaces to come on up, and we still know you all. You still have to say your name for the record, so so welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Paul Onyebane from Urban Spaces and 33 Mount Vernon.
And Dylan Forrester with Haseen.
And I'm David Haseen from Haseen.
Excellent. Thank you. So I know you have some updates for us, some information that we'd requested of you, and you also have a model to walk us through. So I will turn it over to you to share what information you'd like to share with us.
Terrific. Thank you so much. We're delighted to be back. We wanted to share a few points of update with you. More administratively outside this realm, we met with the fire department, and we confirmed that they are satisfied without having building access that was going over the green space. There was some discussion that they might want the trucks to be able to roll over the green space. That was not possible, and they've been very gracious to work out another access plan with us. So that was an issue that, with that off the table, we were able to move forward with Conservation Commission. So we met last week with Conservation Commission again, and we have been getting great feedback, and we believe that perhaps at the next meeting they'll be poised for a vote, and they seem in favor of moving forward with the project. That was an important prerequisite, as we know. So with that behind us, soon, we think, obviously we're here tonight. So we did a few things over the last 2 weeks at your request. First and foremost, we looked into providing a physical model, which was the request last time. We got a price and a timeline, and we felt that we could pursue that route as needed, but since it didn't have the opportunity last time, technology failed us a little, to display the digital model. We thought we'd try to demonstrate that, in our opinion, and in many municipalities' opinions, the digital model often provides a more robust look at a project. You can look at a project from every angle, every perspective, and we offered that tonight if we can display that. And we do that in hope of A, demonstrating what the project looks like from every vantage point that anyone would like to see, and B, to see if we can offer that in lieu of the physical model. That would obviously require a waiver from the board and you need to be amenable to doing that. So we'll hope you'll see that this is a more robust option, and it will be acceptable, hopefully, in lieu of the physical model. The other thing we spent a lot of time on is our housing plan. In order to demonstrate the diversity of housing that is the prerequisite for you, as you've noted to us, in order to approve the additional height, we need to demonstrate adequately that we are providing a diversity of units. That definition is both in the code, that it's a varying size and unit type and price, and for various cultural requirements, which we interpret to mean to appeal to an array of individuals. So we fine-tuned our unit mix over the last few weeks in order to further demonstrate that. And in short, basically we're providing a number of 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom units. They're ranging in price. Market pricing could be, starting in the case of the affordable units, of course, it's by ordinance. It's in the $200 and some $1,000 range, and these units, the very large penthouse units, could be in the $1 million plus maybe $2 million range. We'll see where the market takes us. But that does provide, we think, a diversity of units. Particularly, we thought that the clientele that we'd be serving has such a wide range as a result. So we would be providing units to people on all sides of the economic spectrum as a result. Our units are providing alternatives for people with physical challenges and for people without. We think that because of the unit mix and pricing and size, ultimately the diversity of units, that we would be appealing to a range of buyers. Could be singles, it could be first-time homeowners who are just starting families. It could be people who are divorced, people who live out of town for some of the year, people who are recently widowed, and of course empty nesters who are downsizing out of larger homes and who want to stay within the community. So, in particular, the empty nester crowd finds sort of a virtuous cycle where if the individuals can move out of their homes into this building, it creates a great thing for them because they want to downsize and have maintenance-free living and the kinds of things that are promoted by the senior housing agenda for the downtown district. It also enables a supply on the other end for new families that want to come into Winchester for the first time and maybe were shut out of the single-family market because the older folks that own the houses for many years haven't been able to find a place to move to. So it creates the circle of life. So with that, we think we hopefully can adequately demonstrate to you that we provide a diversity of units, and in turn you could feel comfortable, hopefully, voting for the additional height that is required for the project. So with that in mind, we thought we could focus on the digital model mostly, walking through. If you want to see anything else from the prior slides, we can certainly do that. The major addition is just that we focused on the unit mix, which was requested. So we can show you, that we've got preliminary plans for X 1-bedrooms and Y 2-bedrooms and Z 3-bedrooms, just further demonstrating that diversity of units. So with that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues from Racine.
By all means.
Thanks, Paul.
Can I just state for the record that you shared this model earlier with 2 members at one point in time and with 2 other members at a different point in time, so that 4 of us have seen, or at least initially seen this model. So I wanted to just make sure that's clear.
That's right. Thank you. And if we're okay going right to the model, we're happy to do that. As Paul mentioned, the only changes to the presentation are the actual plans. So if we'd like to see those and you want to pull those up, we can take a quick look. Otherwise, we can jump right to the digital model.
Board members, anyone?
I can go to the digital model.
I agree.
Okay. Great. So I'll go ahead and start the Zoom on my end. And I think before we open this up, I'd just like to give a few notes on the model itself and our process and what you'll see in the model. We have a couple different ways of looking at this digital model that we've spent literally years on. But I do want to say on behalf of the development team, design team, we take great care in ensuring that all of our visuals are accurate in terms of the architecture, its context, and that all the material that we've been showing, including plans, elevations, which are flat views, site sections, and the perspectives that we've been showing to date are all from the same design model, which you'll see in just a moment. So every view really originates from this model that has been put together from actual ArcGIS data, and of course our site from real surveys. So to that end, what you'll see is accurate in terms of scale and height, and there's been no alteration or manipulation of any of the renderings or the views that we've put together, simply different perspectives or vantage points that might make certain buildings perhaps look slightly larger in perspective. So really our intent is to be as clear as possible, as transparent as possible by showing the model and not to mislead.
Could I just add, and I just wanted to mention that some of you may know I've served on the Boston Civic Design Commission now for 20-some years, and this is the technique that we are now using that has been used at the City of Boston for about 4 or 5 years, in lieu of physical models. So this is very much along the lines of what we would be presenting in Boston and other municipalities as well. So I just wanted to share that perspective.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Go ahead and share my screen. And to start, we actually have 2 files of the same model open. We just wanted to begin by showing here. What you're seeing is the ultimate context that we've actually modeled, which is really actually quite more than what we would have been able to model as a physical model at 1:20 scale. But what we like about this is that it almost feels like a model that you might put on the table here and orbit around. So we have that ability to look at this from the bird's eye perspective. And again, to the point of the care that we did take in putting this model together, there are elevational changes here, again, based on GIS data. So what you're seeing are actual contours smoothed over, but at different heights, at different parts of the site. You can see at the perimeter of the model where those dip and rise, such as the steps of the church, which are perhaps 16 feet above grade of our site. So we like this as one way of viewing the model. We can get close to eye level as you would with a physical model. However, we have another model set up that really puts you in the pedestrian level perspective at street level. So we can go ahead and open that up. And what we have here within this model are a number of preset views, a lot of which we've all seen to date that have been part of the still images or perspectives. So we're happy to go ahead and cycle through those. In addition, I believe at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, we did present a site plan with some predetermined viewshed corridors that really march around the site that we thought might be helpful to start with as they give longer, more distant views to the site and essentially walk you around the pond. I also just want to point out that the spectator height, or the eye level, if you will, is for us standard 5'6", and so everything that we've been showing has been 5'6". And as for the field of view, which can vary depending on how one experiences any place, whether in person or through your iPhone or through a 24mm camera lens, the field of view will change. However, what we're starting with here is what we find to be actually the closest to a real human perception. So while we see 180 degrees, we're actually really focusing in our binocular focus on something like 50 to 60 degrees field of view. While it's really small on the screen, what I'm showing now is 50. So I'll just go ahead and continue with that as we more or less tour around. And
Can you just, are you able to show how it moves if you change that?
Yes.
In other words, can you change it from 50 to 60 and
we can, yes.
as we see it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you that right now. I slide this up. This becomes, of course, much more distorted.
Okay, and then now go the other way. Just to 40 or whatever.
And we'll typically use a much wider lens to show more context, just for
Sure.
for
Dylan, if I'm not mistaken, the 50-degree angle is what's considered to be industry standard for approximating human perception.
That's correct.
Is that
Something
correct?
that feels more balanced. Something closer to, say, 90 degrees begins to foreshorten depth. So
Okay.
while buildings will always appear much bigger, the closer they are to you, the 90 degrees will distort the angle quite a bit with the same vantage point, but is a little more deceiving.
And obviously, the advantage here is that we can recreate the human experience rather than the bird's eye experience, although we can do that too.
So what we find really helpful in this model that we've been using for design purposes and massing and scaling portions of the building is we can see its relationship to surrounding context. And of course, this allows us, as opposed to a physical model, to see levels of detail that we just couldn't achieve and pull any view from any portion of the site. It lets us get I think, a more accurate reading on perceived height from different vantage points, both close and far. So I think what we can do is start with some of the kind of predefined views that we're used to seeing that are part of the material package, beginning with the view from just in front of the common. We're calling this kind of the Church Street sequence. So here is, we're at a much higher altitude, of course, right in front of the steps of the church and just before the common. And I will say that we do our best to approximate things like the MBTA line, which in fact has quite a bit more of visual noise, if you will, a large canopy that more or less blocks much of the Brown and Stanton block. We're, of course, turning off trees, as we mentioned last time. So hardly any trees on the site, with the exception of a few that are around the pond. But this is, again, just to be transparent about the building height and the 6th floor, and if there were no trees or in the dead of winter, how this might appear from various vantage points. And I can try and walk around a little bit. Well, sometimes we have to drop using the keyboard back to 5'6", but here we are. So some of these views follow what we had shared in the still perspectives in the package.
Illegally walking in the middle of the road.
It's town day, so we're allowed to do that.
It's the Anchor Parade.
Yeah.
So that's approaching the site from west. We can flip this around and begin from intersection just behind Town Hall.
Can you continue to walk down?
Sure.
To the town hall?
Absolutely.
Nick, since the four of us each got a chance to look at this in more detail,
Right.
and you didn't, I'd like to give deference if there's particular views you'd like to see, because we were able to say, go this way and go here and go there, and you were, I don't think you were able to meet, were you?
No, I wasn't able to.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
She's very happy.
All right. All right.
Very excited about the project.
So
That's,
Please.
continue walking.
Yeah, that's fine.
Intersection and turn around here.
Plenty of time at this intersection to contemplate the building.
And again, some trees have been hidden just for clarity, and the landscape design is still in the works at very schematic level, so those trees are really just representative at this point.
And there are large town trees that you also don't have there too.
That's right.
Not only your trees that you would add or have on your property.
Right. These are more representative for when we actually do create perspective views to demonstrate that downtown is actually quite verdant and there's some landscape around it.
Was that what you wanted to see?
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to go then to that other view?
Yes, and there's a third view that we can take a look at here. Oh, I believe it's up from Mystic Valley Parkway.
It will help you to define the height of the brick part of your building compared to the pink building across the street numerically.
Oh, sure. So the brick building top of parapet, or I'm sorry, the brick portion top of parapet is 48 feet, and that's what we've been showing in our building elevations. The top of the parapet for the pink building we have at 42 feet, so we're 6 feet above that for our masonry.
The brick is 6 feet above the top of the pink building.
So if we go
I don't know
back
what the name
one
of that building
view,
is.
I don't know how hard it is to go back one view.
Oh, not hard at all.
The building on the right is appearing taller because it's closer.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
And that's not because it's taller, but it's just because it's closer.
Right. And I'll just save you a little time. Just say that.
Quite a bit closer, actually.
And one last series of views from the intersection at Mystic Valley Parkway by the library. While the views in the packet have all the trees turned off along here, we have added a few, and we understand that some of the shrubs are actually quite taller than what we've modeled here, but just for demonstrative purposes. Oops, here, we drop the view a little.
The water's even shimmering.
And the pond is full here.
Yeah, the pond is full.
And I can continue walking until we get to the bridge. think before continuing to walk around or orbit, we're happy to take any few requests from the board or.
So members, if you have any place you'd like to go, you'd like to see.
I'm just, it's just interesting to see as you move along. You know, I don't have any particular views, but
What you showed us this afternoon, which I found fascinating, was that you could change the lighting so we could see how the shadows work. That was very instructive. And then also, if you could, from perhaps this angle, show us what it looks like at night.
Oh, sure.
And the Starbucks view. We liked
Yeah,
the
that was
Starbucks
good, too.
view. It was helpful to see.
Let's-
So, as I did mention earlier, because we've changed the view from a previous time of day, you know, the day lighting isn't entirely accurate as we've moved around the building just because of the software. I think what we're happy to do is look at this from an aerial kind of site plan and in a more traditional way for shadow studies, but the model does allow you to change the sun direction. And we can continue going until sunset. And because we have such limited kind of fake illumination in the model, everything is dark, of course, including interiors. The only source of light is from the north commercial space where we did add some additional lights.
Although, I mean, it's probably worth making the point that unlike an office building, for example, at this time of year, where all the lights would be on.
Right.
There would be an apartment here, a window there, a light there. It would be that kind of lighting on the building.
And
Yeah.
Jack and I found it helpful to remember that that whole span of windows that we're seeing facing the river will be the commercial space on this side of the building.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah, there was a point made during, was it last hearing or the previous one, that would be quite bright at night. And obviously, we can't see that here because you can't light it up, but that's what I was looking for, I guess.
That the building would be bright?
Yeah, I mean, people live there, and at
That's
night,
true, that's true.
you know, like particularly like right now, 7 o'clock at night, and when daylight savings times is over.
Yeah. Again, a residential building, so there's drapery and there's this and there's that, but yes.
So we have to take that into consideration.
I think what we can do is go over to Thompson Street and look at that view.
Is that the Starbucks view?
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise known as the Starbucks view.
But not Bagel Bar, don't come.
Well, your Starbucks survived, though. They closed so many of them.
Yeah,
That's true.
been shrunk though.
On the strength
Oh,
of our
yeah.
middle school.
They closed the one in my neighborhood.
No, that's tough.
So we're seeing Starbucks to the right, CVS straight ahead.
Are we still at 50%, 50 view, whatever that,
Yes.
We are 49, but
okay, same difference.
and what you're seeing here is, of course, the southern half of the building. We're at 69 feet, so slightly taller than what's there currently with the laundry building, but the laundry building would take perhaps half, if not a little bit more, of the width of what we're seeing exposed here. And this view is actually part of the material packet where you can see a before and after.
Can you pan left? You don't see any of the rest of the building when you pan left, correct? I mean, I just wanted.
No.
Yeah, you do not. I didn't think you would, but
No, you don't.
Are there any other views?
any other views that you guys want to see?
We did the church before.
Yeah, the top of the front of the church, that was instructive too. That's not too much trouble.
Not at all. Just have to climb the stairs.
There's usually Adirondack chairs out there, so you need to model them next time. Right up front there.
Plastic out.
Then that's a lower field of view. That's got to be like 3'6".
That's directly in front of the door.
Yeah,
Yes.
at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And as Dylan pointed out, we're not seeing the platform and the screening that they had put up there, which would,
Or any trees.
Or any trees,
Yeah,
right.
That's been completely taken out. And I know that there was some concern about the lighting on the top floor, the corridor lighting, but we can certainly address that by screening and also
Motion.
motion sensors that, so they go on when someone's walking down the corridor, not, which is good practice anyway these days.
Anything anybody else wants to see from this?
Nick?
I feel like I really want to defer to you, Nick, because just,
I mean, unless you recommend,
no, I don't have no recommendations, and just want to make sure you don't.
Seen the highlights.
The only other thing I could suggest is if we could go back down, so say we're in front of the fire station and looking and see if we can see how the shadows move as the sun moves.
That would be useful, yes.
Because the green space, I would assume, in the afternoon is going to be...
right, you said right in front of the fire station?
Yeah, so we're looking across the street from the fire station, and you can see
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful.
what the shadows do as the day goes on.
Oh, I see.
Now, this looks like afternoon.
This is afternoon. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So can you start, say, at sunrise and go all the way to sunset?
I believe so.
Okay, let me see the time on the bottom right.
Yeah.
5, 6 a.m.
So that's noon, it's completely clear.
Can you just look up at the building from here?
Sure.
Somebody's watching us.
Yeah, great, thanks.
So the sun's shadow on the grassy area is from morning to midday. So I just want to clarify that because I think we had it mixed up. We said it was afternoon when we saw the shadow before.
I think it goes beyond midday if you can keep going. It's
This is, yeah.
Are you going
that
forward
you're
or
going
backwards?
You're going backwards to morning.
That's from morning.
Oh, no, this,
No,
this,
this is afternoon, wait.
right.
Oh, that's-
Right.
Yeah, so if you just go like to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for example.
That's
This
1
is-
o'clock right there, or about, I can't quite.
Yeah.
And then just proceed on from 1 o'clock on. This is just helpful.
Let's just use the town time points. 2:23 when the elementary gets out.
So there's still sun, it's really, it starts to,
When is the sun setting? Is
it's
this
like there. So 5 o'clock, 5:30.
So the morning shadow that would be cast from this building would generally, obviously, it depends on the time of year, would be on the grassy area, and the afternoon shadow would be on to the building adjacent.
Correct.
Is that right? Is it-
When the sun is setting at like 6:37.
Isn't this, aren't we
As we're
looking,
reminded.
We're looking south here.
are we
We're
looking south?
We're looking south.
So wouldn't the afternoon shadow be on the other side?
Yeah. No, it'd be on this side, because it's, sun's going to set.
Oh, right,
Sun's going
right.
to set over
Okay.
there.
Right, it would be on this side, right?
And then, of course, the park lighting comes on.
So this is morning.
This is morning.
Wait, the other way around then.
Morning, or the east side of the building will get morning light. So
East
actually,
is to the left, so it's going to go like this.
Can you put the clock up again? I'm sorry. I appreciate your patience with our.
this is 6 o'clock at night. So just for reference, this rendered model is a kind of a frozen in time export from our model, which there are so many views, I'm not sure what time of day or what month
Okay.
the view is from. So I think if we're looking for an accurate a sun path, then
Okay.
we can certainly do that from.
Sunrise is from that side and sets in that side. Is
Right.
that- So it would be actually opposite, I
I
think.
think it's the opposite.
So we would have, that's what I, because that shows,
For instance, this is showing 4 o'clock, but it's on the
Sun.
wrong side of the building.
Yes.
In this view.
yes,
We would have to readjust the time in the middle.
okay, I see, yeah. But I think we can see what it would look like, it just, the time is not accurate. Okay. Additional questions?
This is very enlightening. Like it.
Did we want to put up the materiality board at all or not? Or that's different? Okay.
I think we can.
I don't.
Are there other questions about what was, what Paul started with, that we want to ask them now?
I have one question I would like clarified, and then I don't know if we want to, we had decided at the last meeting to request a physical model, and I am anecdotally satisfied with the digital model. I don't know if we want to handle that now or later.
I think we should do that after we have our, when we get to our discussion and talk
Okay.
about the potential waivers that they're asking for.
Okay.
I think we can discuss them all at that time.
Great.
And sort of get a bearing on where we stand on those waivers, because I believe there are 4 total waivers that we're looking at.
Okay, if this is the end of our slideshow, then I think it might be beneficial for the audience to put up the image of the floor plans, just so that people understand what we have in front of us to deliberate. And then my one point of clarification that I think we'll need for our discussion is, we know that the affordable units will be sort of defined by the state guidelines, and we know the ceiling for the units, if we were to put them on the market today, the penthouse might be in the $2 million range. Can you give us a sense of what the floor of the market rate units would be?
Yes. So generally, rule of thumb, the smaller the unit, the less expensive. So let's say our smallest one-bedroom, 600, 800?
Close to 800.
800 square feet.
750,
So,
yeah.
in speaking with one of the brokers, we haven't taken a deep dive into the market rate and things. Of course, we know the median, that's an easy number to get, 1.5 million. But let's say a unit like that at $700 a foot, one of the brokers told us, maybe it's more, maybe it's less, that would be, of course, $560,000.
Okay, that's helpful.
Good.
Thank you.
Wait, say that again?
That's a market rate.
Yes, an 800 square foot market rate unit at $700 a foot would be $560,000. Let's just say at $1,000 a foot, it would be $800,000, right? So we don't know where market is, of course, or where it will be in 2 years from now.
And what did you say was the $1.5 million cost?
That's the median price of a home in Winchester.
Okay.
Just as a comparison, one of the diversity points was if an average home, median average, is 1.5 million, most of our units, would be below median. Some of them would be above. Maybe we'd end up right at median, or maybe we'd end up less than median. Depends on where things land.
I'm no expert on this. I would assume a brand-new building in downtown will have premium value to new purchasers as opposed to an older building somewhere, I would assume.
Yes, very much so. I think that's right. And people will...
That's not a bad thing either. I wasn't saying that in a derogatory way.
Great. And people will gravitate to this location.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we're, in our development business, this is what we're banking on. And the good news, though, too, is in terms of the affordables, again, just because that was asked, those prices are kind of mandated by AMI and things, but and some of them are workforce and some of them are affordable, and that means, the maximum is 80% of AMI or 120% of AMI. But approximately, we're guessing that we'll have, a fair mix, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 3-bedroom. Those would be a natural way to split the 3 affordables, and they are generally in the 200,000, 25, maybe up to even $300,000 range, maybe at the 120%. It might even go to 325, but it's in that order of magnitude. So $325,000 for a three-bedroom that the most expensive unit, as Carrie noted, might be $2 million. That's a nice range of pricing.
Thank you. Does that address?
Yes, that's perfect, thank you.
Do you want us to go to an upper level?
So the largest three-bedroom would be approximately how many square feet? Any ideas?
2,500. And the goal there, again, with mixing these unit sizes from 800 to 2,500 is to provide an array of options, a diversity of options for different families. We are actually in the market in another community for a building that is similarly attracting various groups. And, you know, it's kind of a little counterintuitive, but some people who are empty nesters, just perhaps one or two people, actually want a larger unit sometimes because the kids or the grandkids come home. On the other end of the spectrum, you'll have a one-bedroom with someone maybe recently divorced or recently, you know, becoming a first-time home buyer and lives alone. He or she might want that 800 square foot unit. So there's different people want different things.
And we do a lot of work with empty nesters, and the homes they're moving out of are often 5,000-6,000 square foot homes. So even a three-bedroom at 2,500 square feet is a squeeze. And so there's definitely a clear market for that, and of course the hope that the kids are going to come home for the holidays.
Can I ask a question on your choice of 34 units? Is that, I heard you just talking, it's based partially on the size of the units that you want, because you want some larger ones. Is it based on the amount of parking? And if you had if suddenly you went down another level and had 2 levels of parking, I'm not proposing you do that, and you had 60 parking spaces, would this be the number of units you would go to, or would you probably make more smaller units? So I don't know if you get the point of my question.
Absolutely do. Thank you. In real estate development, it's all about trade-offs, right? And so when we traded off the width of the building that we inherited, which was not even permittable, there were a lot more parking spaces, so there were probably a lot more units. In our case, it is, and parking always drives, pun intended, the place. And so we have 34 spaces, and you know we have 34 units. We could have had maybe 37 or 38 or maybe 30. Some people want more than one car. Some people will have no cars. So we just kind of landed on that, primarily driven out of parking. And basically, if we are exploring the opportunity, we're not sure if we can do it, to extend subterranean, the parking grid to provide another row or column, as you may look at it, of parking behind the parking spaces that are there. So a tandem row of parking. We're not sure if we can do that because of various constraints, including water infiltration. But someone asked us to explore it, and we are exploring it, and it makes the building much more marketable, of course, if people could have 2 cars, because a lot of people have 2 cars in families. Some have none. So we're exploring all those, but the real number is 34 spaces, and correspondingly about that many units.
Okay, so I don't want to be cynical, but I'm also going to ask the follow-up question. 34 is obviously the number that when you hit 35, you would have one more affordable unit. So answer my cynical question of how that was factored into 34. This is 35.
That wasn't factored in. We originally, I think we had 37 for many of our presentations, and I guess you're right. That would have triggered the next one, and the next one after that doesn't trigger till 50 or some units. It really didn't come into our play because you see we have 34 spaces. We can go fewer units or more units over time. We just don't know what the market is going to be. But you can imagine a scenario where someone says, I'd like to combine that 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. And now suddenly we're down to 33 units. Or maybe the other way. That 3-bedroom is really big. I want to cut it in half. And we're up to 35. So wherever the cards fall, we'll provide the appropriate number of affordable units. But it's 3 for now.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions about anything new? I guess you could continue going up the floors. Have we seen all the floors? I can't remember. Okay. Any other questions about anything new, about the model? Seeing none, I'm going to thank you very much. What I think we're going to do now is move into public comment. And then after public comment, we will be able to discuss this project more fully. So I'm going to kick you guys out politely.
It's not outside your rights to remind folks coming to the microphone to treat the board with respect.
Thank you very much. That was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and appreciate work on the model. It was wonderful.
So this is the point in time where we welcome members of the public to come up and give public comment. This obviously has been going on for a while. We've heard from many of you. We've heard from several of you several times. I'm not going to tell anybody they can't come up, but tonight, because we want to get through this and continue on with our discussion, I am going to limit anybody who wants to give public comment to 3 minutes. So with that, if you're interested in coming up, you state your name and address, and I will time you. When you hear the little alarm go off, try to wrap it up, please. So anybody have any public comment they'd like to give? Come on up. Is that the sign-in sheet right there? Yeah. Okay, perfect, thanks.
Sorry for the delay.
That's okay.
I think you all know what I'm going to say.
Please feel free to sit down, state your name and address,
My name
and
is D.M. O'Connell, Bacon Street, Winchester. You all know what I'm going to say, and I think my face will tell the story, which is bitter disappointment. We sat here last time, and we read the language in the guidelines and the regulations, which said, I'm going to have it right here, regulations governing business district, PUD, project model. The project model, a physical model, must be provided by the developer. And we've danced around this for quite a while. I have asked for a model for this project from prior developers. And the planning board has always said, oh, you know, we can waive that. We don't need a physical model. The digital model will do. And there is a reason why developers don't provide a digital model or don't provide a physical model. It's because it tells too much. It tells too much. And you have the language here that says compels the developer to provide the physical model. And we're now having a conversation, hey, maybe we'll waive it and this digital thing will do. And so I said, it's disappointment on my face because I sort of see where this is going. We're going down the waiver route and oh, give us the digital model and everything is fine. I did express to you, I came tonight with my rule, my 1:20, because I thought I'd see on the table, I thought I'd see a model. And we could look at it and check it and say, okay, is this really what we're up to? So I am very disappointed. You have it within your purview, the requirement to get a physical model here. The developer has come today and he has said, oh, it's going to take too much time and it's going to cost me money. One, it's not costing the town time. It's not costing the town money. And it's something that you are required in many ways to ask him to provide. So you're selling the town short by not demanding the model that the regulations provide for. So when this thing, as you, Mr. Chairman, you pointed out the last time, when something like this starts to go up downtown and people start seeing it rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever stories, and they say, oh my God, what's that? How did that happen? Who let that happen? There will be uproar in this town when they see a building of that size on the pond overshadowing our beautiful little town. There will be uproar. Because what's presented here is a poster child for how not to do it. That's not what you do in historic small downtowns. Build a wall of a building between a town and its pond. The last comment I make, because I do want to...
3 minutes.
I've
You're at 3
taken
minutes
too
now.
much of your time before, and I'm sorry about that, is when you look at the floor plans today, and I'm reminded of height has always been a big issue here. And that top floor is 3 units. So why not get rid of the 3 units? Take a whole floor off. It's only 3 units. The units go from 34 to 31. The affordable housing still stays the same because it's over 30. Take a floor off. Take off 3 units. It would make a huge difference. Show it on a model.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Are there additional members of the public? Come on up. I accidentally had my timer going up instead of down, so it didn't make a noise, except for me saying it, but state your name and address for the committee.
Thank you so much. I'm back. I'm Jamie Duvall, 7 Dix Terrace. I'm also chair of the Design Review Committee. And I think it's really important to take a look at the CBD Reg 7.3, which I must say Design Review Committee needs to look at more too, because there are design regulations, including the requirement for a physical model to abide by. Also, when I was looking at, this is the first I've seen it, the digital model, I think the physical model would be very, very helpful. I was noticing that the top 2 floors, as I looked at it, when they were looking down, the top 2 green floors were the green of the grass. And then when we were looking it up, it was sort of the color of the sky. And so, you know, like making it disappear. And the truth is, it's going to be metal, solid mass or volume. So that was, I have really random thoughts here, but I absolutely agree that we need to have a physical model, 1 to 20. Also, I noticed throughout the model there were things that were wrong that made maybe the building look smaller, like at the Rotary at Church Street, they have pretty solid big volumes that look oversized. I just don't quite trust, is that what I should say? I don't even know, but what I see in the digital model, for example, the 2-story Lucia's always lines up with the 4-story brick portion of the building. Also, I actually think this model does show that the top of the building, you can see it as my long ago photographic overlay showed. You can see it from many places. It's taller than any other building in the center. And it's flat, and it's not the townscape, the roofscape of the small town, which is actually in the regs of sloped roofs and towers and cupolas. It's just flat, and it's metal, and it's like shipping containers or something. And then they said, oh, we'll turn off the corridor lights and have them on timers. But that is truly not an elegant top to the tallest building in Winchester. So I have a lot of thoughts like that. One last thing, I absolutely think we need a physical model, and I also think we need the public to have access to the digital model so we can run around town and take screenshots and see what we think. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Other members? Other members, come on up. Out of curiosity, come on up. Is there anybody who has never spoken here at this meeting and would like to speak here at this meeting ever before? Oh, okay. So
I will.
yes, but I just want to know if anybody who's here who has never spoken about this topic at the planning board before, just so I would want to give some deference if there were people who had never been able to have their public comment made. Go ahead. Sorry.
David Feigenbaum, 3 Meadowcroft Road.
Thank you.
The building is grotesquely large. It's too tall for its location in the center of Winchester, and you will do a great disservice to this town and will shock most of the residents if you approve this building the way it's been proposed. I'll just be brief. I would urge you not to allow this building to be built this way and to force the applicant to, first of all, lower the building and probably make it smaller. The difficulty here is pretty simple, isn't it? They want to make money on this building. Their idea and their goal is profit. The town's interest is quite different. And frankly, I don't think anybody on this board should pay any attention to the interest of the applicant and the profit. Your interest is in whether this is going to do visual and other damage to the center of the town, and this building is. And shame on you if you approve it.
Thank you very much. Since I know you're going to come on up, Maureen.
I do want to say, before I start on this project and my comments,
Could you sit down and state your name and address, and then I will, when you're sitting at the table, I'll start.
Two questions.
State your name.
Issues. Maureen Meister, I did say you didn't hear me. There are two issues here. One is really process, and I'd like to be able to address that separately from this 3-minute business. We spent maybe 50 minutes listening to them. This is so out of range of what happens in a court, and yet you're acting in a judicial manner. This isn't the way we set up our procedures. When I was on the board, we tried to return to some parity. This isn't it. In a court, you come forward, you sit down, the person, the defendant, comes up, they speak. We're way out of whack here with the 3 minutes. I know where the 3 minutes came from. I was here, but we also really cut down on the amount of time that was being given to the applicant. So we had some balance that we were trying to achieve. So now we're kind of muffled and or muzzled. I'm sorry, wrong word. And it's just really out of whack. I had lots of different observations, so do other people, that could give you some actual helpful input. You've got several really well-respected architects in this room, and they could understand what you aren't being told and why things are the way they are. So that's not my 3 minutes. I do want to speak to the project.
You have a minute and 46 seconds.
No, I
Yes,
like
you
some
do.
balance here.
No.
No,
you don't.
In the physical, well, maybe the board should vote. Because this is really unfortunate. You do have a public that's missing here. You've got, I think, almost 10 people here on behalf of the applicant. You're so out of whack, and yet you're elected to serve the community. Please consider your community is unaware of what's going on. Secondly, you do have the problem that the public would be able to see a physical model. To manage this, as you've seen, even among you, that it takes a professional to really work this model. You want a physical model. That's why you want a physical model, and that's why it was put in the regs, because that person who was an architect understood what would serve us best. The idea of those top 2 floors, they're just ugly. They're really ugly. Please don't do that to Winchester. That gives us no benefit. We end up, it's 3 affordable units on 30-some units anyway. We're not getting ahead with 40B at all. We can do a lot better, people, a lot better. And then finally, you haven't even mentioned, here we have volunteers on a historical commission who met this past week, and they've submitted their own recommendation. They voted unanimously against this because of its impact on our National Register historic town center. And who's reporting for them? They should be able to come in and speak too, but they're not here. It's town meeting week, of course. It's a difficult night for people to come out. But anyway, you do have a historical commission who has now put time and discussion into it. National Register District, and also the Mill Pond itself is a National Register listed body of water under the Callaway plans. So please consider that there are many more voices than what you're hearing here with this gigantic team costing a ton of money on behalf of the applicant who has the money for what's supposed to be this megabucks investment for the backers of this project. Please serve the town. Thank you
very much. Any other public comment? Okay. Is there anybody else after that who would like to give public comment? Okay. So This will be the final public comment, and then we can have discussion among ourselves.
Okay, John Serbier from the Housing Partnership Board, and I live at 9
I'm sorry.
Chestnut Street.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Just as a preface, the first time I'm seeing the floor plans is tonight, so I haven't seen any of the material that was distributed. After the last planning board meeting, I left with 2 homework assignments. The first was to review the PUD portion of the CBD zoning code. The second was to try to resolve the multiple and even conflicting definitions of housing diversity that were used in the discussion. And I will apologize at the outset for giving multiple references to the zoning code. In the PUD section of the zoning code, I first noticed the definition of purpose contained in section 7.3.14.1, and it's stated in the Urban Spaces memo, the purpose of the planned unit development is to encourage and facilitate the development of new mixed-use developments, especially those incorporating a underlined substantial number of housing units. The developments intended for the 3 planned unit development areas were explicitly intended to be larger in size. I then read section 7.3.14.16, which requires the submission of a housing plan, and that statement is, the size, number, and approximate price of all units shall be expressly stated in order to determine that if the proposed housing portion of the project is meeting the goals of the Winchester Master Plan, which aims to provide a diversity of housing types to enable persons and households from a wide range of ages, economic levels, and cultures to live within the CBD. And this is consistent with the normal practice of the Planning Board to examine the interior layout of a proposed development in terms of floor area size, number of bedrooms, location of housing units within a building, in addition to examining the exterior design of the building. I'm glad that Urban Spaces is now moving toward providing the required housing plan, but I'm not sure that they're there yet on that. In terms of diversity, the conclusion I came to is that actually 2 separate scales need to be considered by the Planning Board. The first is the PUD development itself, and the second scale involves the broader Central Business District and Winchester community. How does the proposed development contribute to meeting the broader community goals for housing diversity? Within a specific development, section 7.3.14.1 states that it is expected that any residential component within a PUD will provide a diversity of housing types, price points, and sizes to accommodate a wide range of ages and economic levels. And so we don't yet have the information to know whether that statement is being achieved. In deciding whether the proposed development satisfies the requirement.
Can I ask you to wrap it up out of fairness to the others that I gave everybody 3 minutes?
Okay. Am I at 3 minutes?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Well, let me just make one more statement. In this context, it's interesting to note that the mix of housing provided in the proposed 33 Mount Vernon Street development differs significantly from the housing being built in the Waterfield PUD district. These are 2 of the 3 PUDs defined in the CBD. I have a definition of housing diversity that was provided by CHAPA. I will leave that out. I can submit this in writing.
Could you, if you submit that in writing, that would be very helpful.
Again,
no intention. I do not expect a.
It would be helpful to hear that definition, though, maybe.
I'd love to get it in writing.
Yeah, may I suggest, Mr. Sabir submitted a statement on behalf of the Housing Partnership Board last spring, but that was before we modified this plan, if you recall. And I would encourage him to develop this presentation you're giving us more fully on paper.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
That would be really helpful, and then you can answer these other questions that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the degree to which, the planning board has to decide the degree to which this proposal is contributing to achieving the broader community goal for increased housing diversity, and I think it is well on its way to doing that, but we don't yet have all of the detail in the housing plan to make that determination.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And we will look forward to, I should add that we welcome public comment from anyone, written as well. We do welcome written public comment. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I can take these speaking notes and
Yes, please do.
Yes, please do.
as I sent to you this afternoon.
Yes, excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So that will close public comment unless there are additional members of the public, which I did not see. So we have some questions before us tonight. There are requests for 4 waivers that we have to, and I'm not asking anybody necessarily to vote on any of those waivers tonight, but it'd be helpful to know where we stand on those, giving the directions as far as whether we're considering it or whether we're going to hold firm. I think the first one that we need to consider, this is my opinion, but I welcome all you, is whether we're willing to give a waiver for a physical model. That was one of the things that we would have to give a waiver if we want to. If we choose to do that, then we would accept the digital model instead. And if we don't, then it would, because we voted that they needed to have one, we'd have to basically give a waiver for what we voted. So I open discussion on that, whether people think that the digital model.
Let's list all 4 waivers first, if you don't mind.
Yes. The second waiver would be for additional height than is allowed by right. 40 feet is allowed by right, 48 feet by special permit, 59 feet by open space special permit, and there is no limit under the PUD special permit relief. So that would be the second waiver that they're requesting. The third waiver they're requesting is a floor area ratio. It's a waiver. It is 1.5 by right. You can go up to 2.5 with special permit relief and up to 3.0 with special permit relief in the PUD. Then the last waiver is setback waivers. It is, I believe, if my math is correct, it's they're requesting a 2-foot setback on Mount Vernon and a 10-foot setback on Converse Place. And they can do 0 by right and up to 10 feet with special permit. So I believe those are the 4 waivers that we need to consider in order to move forward.
Can you say that last one again, the setbacks?
Setbacks. By right, they have 0 foot by right setback.
0 foot from Mount Vernon Street?
From Mount Vernon. Can you correct me?
From the sidewalk?
That's
It's 0 foot setback.
0 foot setback. Okay.
So that it can come right up to the sidewalk like the other buildings
Yes,
from Mount Vernon?
and this is actually set back further. So it's a special permit to be set back further from the sidewalk than.
Why? I don't understand that. Maybe Taylor, why do we need a?
The original proposal was to add more sidewalk, to make the sidewalk larger. And my assumption would be foundation footings is my assumption for the additional 2 feet. But the primary goal was to increase the walkability of the area by extending the sidewalk.
Are they going to extend it then, or?
Yes,
Oh, they are.
that is what is proposed.
Sidewalk will be broader than it is.
Okay.
Existing.
So the setback on Converse was how much, 4 feet?
Setback on Converse, 10 feet.
10 feet, so it's also 0, and am I understanding this right?
Yeah, that is one thing that we should get clarification from the applicant before we make the vote on that waiver is of those 2 numbers.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with either of those, but
Great, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. So those are the 4 waivers that we need to discuss because they really determine how we proceed moving forward. If we do not waive a physical model, then then it's more time to move to that stage. I'm not saying that that's something we should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying that we need to be realistic of what that is. And if I think I said this in a previous meeting when we were talking about the height, if members of the board do not think that they would ever approve a waiver for 69-foot height, then my personal opinion is we could tell them what we think we might approve, give them some guidance, but I don't want them to keep on coming back if the answer inside of our heads is we're never going to approve a 69-foot height building, then they can decide whether they are willing to do a shorter building or not, but we don't need to string them along. So, and in my mind, floor area ratio just follows along with that. They sort of go hand in hand. So that's sort of setting the table. I don't know that I have an answer to any of these things, but I welcome your thoughts. Let's start with the model if you want.
I don't think we start with a model for the reason that you're outlining. I mean, I think I always have a little trouble getting my arms around these discussions because I feel like we have open-ended questions, would we ever do this? And then we also have very siloed, let's discuss this and ask questions, like sort of like, and I'm trying to find the time when we discuss as a board what where those sort of project sits in the middle of it. I feel like it's been a very kind of slideshow focused process so far. So for me, getting oriented, I put some of the pieces of the bylaw together into little packets. If you remember last year, I do love my packets. This is just distilled down from some of the, this is really for Taylor and Ian to share, which is super awkward because you're not sitting together. But so we're in the east core of the CBD. We've got a lot of this is reiterated, but it helps me to have it out in writing. The heights are there, the numbers that we just read, I don't need to reiterate those to you, but if you want to refer back to them, these are the east core allowable by right heights, FAR setbacks, all those things. And then to me, the heart of this discussion is the planned unit development. And so the details of the planned unit development bylaw are printed here, and then the sections that are set out are the map on the back. And I think if we think holistically about the planned unit development, the intention of that entire bylaw, and what problem we want to hope to solve on this property that could not be solved elsewhere in town, I think that's the orientation that we need before we decide, would we ever allow a building? Would we ever pass this waiver? Those are two pieced out. One of the designated areas that was committed to be a PUD was Waterfield, and we approved that project, and I think it's a good benchmark for us to refer back to. We think about the lot that was designated as the Waterfield lot. That building will be a substantial improvement, and I think we can think over how we got there and what it brings to the town. It's going to bring 56 units. It's going to bring 40 affordable units. It's a substantial increase in inventory that can't be solved parcel by parcel in other parts of the CBD or in other parts of high-density areas in town. And so for me, I'm asking myself, can this lot, is the Mill Pond area, which is, if you look at the map on the back of the unnumbered pages, is clustered with a few other buildings. Is this building solving a problem that can only be solved this way on this lot? And is this the optimal use of this space? Because these are very limited sort of special areas of town that are meant to bring that housing diversity. I kind of wish we had gotten to that definition, but it's okay. We'll get it in writing and we can factor it into our discussion. But is there a person who's prevented from moving to town or from staying in town that will find what they need in this building in a way that they wouldn't find elsewhere? Which I think we can resoundingly say, yes, that is happening at Waterfield. Like, that will bring opportunities that we really don't have elsewhere in town. And I don't think we have the information to make that determination based off of our color blocked architectural drawings here. But I also think it's something that we need to spend time thinking over and looking at what would be required of us to pass this as a special permit, because those steps matter too. And one of the criteria is this in scale with the neighborhood? As we answer that question, are we providing a unique housing diversity that can only be solved on this lot? Are we also keeping it in scale with the neighborhood, or gently leading the neighborhood in a new direction? And I'll leave it a little open. I don't think anyone would be shocked by any of my answers, but to me, that's how we have to orient it. And if we know that this project isn't coming close to the criteria that we're hoping to meet with the PUD, the model doesn't matter, because, so let's not vote on that one first.
Thank you.
We got some of the answers. There'll be, 3 affordable housing units, but we're taking a 6th floor that's obviously creating some friction for this project, and we're giving it to 3 units. And we're creating 2 floors, and we're getting, I think, 10 units for the 2 floors that are substantially above what would be, I think, fairly easy to approve by special permit. I think that's how because that discussion comes from the interests of Winchester, I think that as a board is what we should be talking about.
I appreciate that. I would add to what you have to say that the waterfield development in PUD 1 is a very different animal.
It is.
It's on town-owned land and was subject to a town meeting vote and a town-wide vote. Obviously, it still needed approval from the planning board, but it was a very different animal.
But we can see how rigorous we needed to be with it, and we can get a sense of okay, we really optimized a lot. So are we this might be optimal for this lot.
One
We
could say
might
that
be
it
there.
was a success. The water field.
Has not been built, though. But it is a success, I agree.
Could be a success.
Could be.
Poised for success.
If it's ever built,
Is there a question?
No.
Wouldn't be built.
No.
It hasn't been built. I think that there's an important distinction between that and this, and that was a piece of town-owned land, and this project has to deal with the cost of the land.
Right, and I very much welcome your insights into whether we're optimizing this parcel of land.
Right, but we can help define what the value of the land is by what we decide. And if we decide that this is too high of a building, cost of the value of the land goes down based on that one decision.
So is there a configuration of the building?
But we don't have the only say.
Well, it's not our responsibility to
No,
back
if you went 40B, the value goes.
It would go down.
No, it would go up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you do a 40B.
Well, it wouldn't. We can't say no. We only want a 3-story building, and the value will go down to what you can do with the 3-story building but it's essentially always going to be this footprint because of the conservation issues. Because you'll be able to do 6 stories with a 40B, and you won't have to pull back the 6th floor to choke it down to 3 units. That's why it does seem. I admit, I look at it and I think it's a lot of work for 3 units, but I didn't run all the numbers on it, but it is choked down to 3 units. And 40B would not be choked down to 3 units. And it probably wouldn't have the nice brick, it wouldn't have a lot of features. And we don't really, and we wouldn't have a model, and it'd be a very different situation. I think that those are the choices you're making. Something of this nature, we freed up a lot of Tuesday nights.
Right. As I said last week, it would be like sanctuary downtown. Same architecture, I'm sure. Totally out of character for downtown.
You'll have someone come in and say, well, it's sort of a stucco finish, and look around, China sky, the building we call the Pink Building. You can find that finish. You can make the argument. Not that they have to listen to,
I prefer not to compare to a 40B because that's hypothetical. I understand that it could happen, but we've heard from this developer that it cost them $1 million in subsidy to put an affordable unit. And this development has 3 affordable units and 2 workforce units, which are also affordable. So let's say that's a $4 million, what they're seeing is a $4 million hit to them, $3 million, if those would be market rate things. If we move up to, if this same building were built as a 40B with this many units, it would need, what, 8 affordable, 9 affordable units, something like that. So that would be an additional, according to their numbers, another $4 million hit to their, so I just think it's, I don't want to get ahead of us of saying, if it's not this, it's going to be a 40B. It could be a 40B, but we're comparing this to nothing really.
Well,
I mean, I see your point.
I mean, I'm not sure if I get the numbers. $1 million a unit for each unit doesn't, the units aren't going to sell for $1 million, you know, how it could cost that much. You are going to get $200,000, so even if they sold for $1 million, it would be $800,000, but I don't, I mean, that is the natural, if you were someone who, that was your business, you'd like to do 40Bs, you would take a real hard look at this.
Is there a way if the unit, John, this is to John, is there a way if the units were smaller to make it feasible at 48 feet?
If you made the units smaller?
I mean, or I don't know. I mean, this is so far outside my purview. Is there a way to make this building on that footprint economically feasible, in your opinion, at 48 feet?
I don't know what the purchase price is that really drives everything, but the real constraint is the parking. You're kind of stuck with 34 spaces.
But it'd be 10 units smaller without the top two, so even if they, it wouldn't be, 48 feet. Like, if we say this could go forward as a special permit, it's a great looking building, I mean, they said that, it could be a weird looking, but like whatever. If we just say, we would never approve a higher height here, is there a version of development where a 48-foot building could be feasible on that footprint?
Sure. It would really depend on what you paid for the dirt. I mean, you could do not very much if you could buy it for $500,000. You could do it. No, but I mean, it really, I could do 4 townhouses and think this is great and spend $2 million for it, but it would feel like a lot of wasted opportunity, but.
Okay, so we're not killing all chances of development if we say the PUD doesn't garner a 69-foot building.
What are the objectives that we would really like to see if we're going to give up?
That's what I'm asking. Well, I think we should spend a minute thinking, what is the missing inventory? Like, outside this building, what are we missing in Winchester? I don't think we've spent any time sort of thinking what
is the missing inventory?
Who can't get here?
The missing
or who
middle
can't
we
stay
always talk
here?
about.
Yeah, so who's that owner and what are they looking for?
Somebody who's looking for something that they, as the applicant said, somebody who's downsizing, who's maybe an
don't
empty
take
nester.
a marketing spiel, though. Think about your friends and people nearby,
Could be me,
Yeah, okay. Would you move into this building
possibly.
at these price points?
Possibly, sure.
I mean, what you see a lot in downsizers is they sell their house, and they'd like a place here, and they'd like a place someplace else.
Yeah, so it's a part-time.
They'd like, so if they sold their house for $2 million, they could probably buy one of these and buy something. Any other place in the country you can buy with the change you
Outer
can buy
Banks,
of
somewhere.
your choice. So you see that a lot. A lot of people think of it that way.
I mean, I thought the Council on Aging made good points. It's across the street from the Jenks. It's right downtown. It's walkable. They're ADA accessible. I think those are needs.
You absolutely can. You can walk to the commuter rail and,
And, CVS.
Excuse me?
And CV. I mean,
Sure.
you can get
Lots
your
of
coffee
things.
at 4 different places.
Lots of things. I mean, all the reasons you'd be downtown.
Do we need to hear would it be helpful to hear the definition of diversity? or not?
Is it in the?
Diverse housing.
Diverse housing.
Yeah, I mean, as I've read in a couple places, the diverse housing is not necessarily affordable housing. Affordable housing is a component of this diverse housing. It's opening up opportunities to live in town for people who want to stay in town, retirees who don't want to maintain, a big house and plow the driveway every winter and rake the leaves. They don't want to deal with that anymore. There's that.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be affordable to that many people that are downsizing from a $1.5 million house.
So the purpose for the PUD states it's to encourage and facilitate the development of new mixed-use developments, which this is, especially incorporating a substantial number of housing units, which I think is up for debate. I mean, when we consider, and that's where we need a dimensional table. Like, I don't know how many square feet I don't know how big the units are. We don't know what the layout is for them. That's a bit frustrating. The PUD is intended to ensure coordination and flexibility in design and review through a carefully controlled process for evaluating specific plans, blah, 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 provide a diversity of housing types, parentheses, rental, condo, price points, and sizes to accommodate a wide range of ages and economic levels.
I think this does, my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the layouts, I think, for me, I have enough. I have the bedroom count. I don't need to know more detail than that.
And they started at 700 square feet, and they go up to, what do they say, 2,500?
He said 2,500, yeah. He said the
7 or 8. I don't.
Yeah, the smallest one-bedroom unit is 800 square feet, and the largest three-bedroom is theoretically 2,500 square feet.
Which is a large
Yeah,
one-floor
bigger than my house.
Bigger than my house.
Just on one floor.
Yeah,
That's a roomy space.
very roomy.
Yeah, I mean,
So to answer your question, as far as what Winchester is missing, to me, looking at with someone with kids who are now adults, but not looking to buy yet, it's housing that they can afford. I don't mean affordable housing. I mean lowercase affordable housing.
Right.
So I look at this development with that lens, and I'm not 100% sold yet that it provides enough lowercase affordable housing to meet the diversity that I would in my mind think we need. I do think it adds downtown. I spoke with a realtor downtown, and this realtor said that they could sell every single condo in a week in this building if it was built. That the people are desperate for exactly what we're hearing, downsizing and moving into town. There are certain people who want to stay in town. They don't want to go out of town. They don't want to go even to the next town over. And they would pay a premium to stay in town and downsize their house. So that's sort of at odds with sort of what I think is what we need, which is more lowercase affordable housing. What she's saying is that what they need is, I don't want to use the word premium, but high quality downsizing space in town. So that's just another perspective different from mine, which is what we need. So I feel like we need to, we each have a different perspective of what would qualify as diverse housing, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate, I agree with the missing middle concept, and the lowercase affordable is really every single day another house is disappearing that's lowercase affordable. Every single day. Yep. They're tearing down a house and building a 5,000 square foot house. And it's like falling dominoes. I mean, and then you're getting to the point where it's just going to be it's already unaffordable, but it's going to get worse.
There's another aspect which I alluded to at our last meeting, and that is when this bylaw was written 10 years ago, as I recall, I was on town meeting and I was on historical commission, which we were very much involved at the time. Downtown at the time was dead, basically. A lot of commercial businesses were failing, were not doing well. Restaurants were I mean, we had middling restaurants. And the whole point of this was to bring people into town to take advantage of our train station, which was going to be rebuilt, and to build up the population of the center of the town. And the Waterfield project with, how many, 54 rental units? We're going to go far in that direction. But other than that, and this project, that's all we've got to show for it. But I think every one counts. I think this is going to add a good mix of people of several different income levels, different age groups. As Jennifer Wilson said, the Council of Aging, there's going to be people who are town meeting members, who are volunteers with Jinx Center, who are involved in town, retirees. And they're living right in town, walking distance to Town Hall. If they live in that building, walking distance to the high school for town meetings, walking distance to the shops. I think it all clicks in my mind.
You know, when we think about what the units are going to go for, it's really not the developer's decision. It's really going to be the market. He's going to build it. People are going to buy them or not buy them, you know, but they're going to, unless you want to, you know, the affordable units are about, going to control the price on 3 units.
5 in total, because there's 2 120 AMI units too. So
okay.
Yeah, so 5 total.
So, you know, they're going to go, I mean, they're going to be more expensive per square foot than others because they're downtown, because they're on the water, because of all the things that make them attractive.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the...
you can't...
Like the apartment build, the new one on Dick Street. I was shocked at the prices that they were getting for that place.
And they got them.
They got them.
But, you know, they didn't get them at the project behind Fell's Hardware, the Allegro building. Took 2-3 years to sell that.
Yeah, not a...
Hottest real estate market in memory.
Yeah, not
very expensive.
And not the best location either.
No, not bad.
Not at that price. No, not at that price. I mean, it's about price, right?
Yeah.
Right. Not at that price, you know. And especially with the knowledge that the building that houses the liquor junction is probably not going to remain one story forever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be looking at something at some point. I mean, nothing's come before us, but someone's thinking about it.
So then to me, that's the other question that we have, is that if we consider sort of the approval process for the special permit, we do have to come back to whether or not this massing is appropriate. So we have rezoned Main Street, we've added the 3A zoning, so the trade-off for, I mean, we can tell from the digital model, this blows up the skyline of Winchester. Like, this dominates every view from everywhere. It's not to say it's not, could look fine. It could, you know, it will. It's not to say the skyline of Winchester will remain untouched for generations to come. It will evolve. This is more of like a stochastic event as opposed to a gradual evolution. And any design decision will split the adjudicators, right? Everybody will have their favorites, but this will, I mean, you can see it from everywhere. That Starbucks view is so clear, and like, you know, everywhere you look, you will see the top of this building.
I mean,
and so
the top isn't exactly the most contextual of design.
Right. I mean, for me, if it's 48 feet, it's kind of a no-brainer because it's brick, it fits right in. You only see a little bit of it above from all of the views around town. I mean, every time they changed views, I was like, if you get rid of the green layer, this is fine. It feels much more in scale. It feels much more. So then you think, can this housing happen anywhere else? And so the timing of this project is tricky because we have created so much opportunity through town to absorb 34 units. You know, 56 units, you're starting to get where it's like, I don't know if we can put all that above, you know, is that going to be above Liquor Junction and above, you know, each of these things. You know, we just got 13 units, but we're not to 56 very quickly. But it's, you know, I don't know if it solves a problem that's not going to, I don't know, start to solve itself over the next 5 to 10 years.
So I think
And we
circling.
sacrifice adherence to the step of the special permit where we have to keep the size and scale of the building in context of the neighborhood.
And that's where I circle back to what I said at one point, which was, is 69 feet a bridge too far for somebody on this board, such that if we got detailed plans that showed exactly where the rooms were and pricing for every unit and all those details that we talked about, it would still be a bridge too far to go to 69 feet because of something else. So therefore, we don't need, that's why I was saying, is 69 feet just like never going to say yes to that? So therefore, we don't need that level of detail now. Or could we get to there if we had that level of detail? I'm asking you internally, I'm not asking you to answer that. I'll say my quiet part out loud. I expected and hoped that they would come to us and say, you're only required to have 3 affordable units, but we'll give you 4 or 5. That's what because that's the measurable thing I can look at. And when I walk down the street and somebody says, why is that building so big? I'll say, because we got extra affordable units. And that was what earned them the height from 40 to 69 feet. But I'm not seeing that. But that's not saying that that's not possible. I mean,
would that be enough, though? I mean,
I'm saying that was my expectation of what I would see, and I didn't see that. But I'm not saying it I'm not saying it would never happen. But it's that kind of direction It's that kind of direction. So I am not a never 69 feet. I just need to understand. Just simply having a mix of units downtown and basically following the minimum, and I don't mean that within a negative, but the minimum requirements for affordable housing, in my mind, doesn't justify that height premium. But it's a metric, because again, I'm looking at lowercase affordable, and what's the metric I'm going to use for that? I guess it's going to be uppercase affordable, because that's the easiest surrogate I can use for that. But if you're looking at instead downsizing houses in downtown, that could be the metric you're looking at. I'm not sure we're all going to agree on the same metric as far as whether they're deserving of 69 feet when it's 40 feet by right and 48 by special permit, and then up to unlimited with satisfying PUD. So that's sort of where I stand. But we're all 5 people are going to have 5 different opinions on this.
And I'm not particularly, our need for affordable housing is outrageous, but our need for affordable housing at all, the script version, the, Comic Sans version, all versions of A at the beginning of affordable, we are lacking, right? Except for the one that has a silent UN before it. That's what we're lacking in town. And so I'm not locked into the fact that they add to the subsidized housing inventory, although that is something that we, I think, need to work harder on and keep working on. It's just whether or not, it could be true that the diversity that we're lacking are luxury condos. It could be true that that's just Winchester, and Winchester is going to move from a large house to a luxury condo, and we're under-servicing people because they don't want to live in small one-unit, it's in the discussion of what is Winchester looking for. But I go back to the sort of special permit process and the ask from the town, which is, is this, and the PUD question of can it only be solved this way on this lot? If we had not recently done so much rezoning to encourage other buildings to get a floor higher, other density to increase along Main Street, other properties to turn over to housing, I think I would feel more pressure to start adding units. But we have quite a bit of housing coming to town, and I don't know if changing the downtown character to solve problems in this way is necessarily essential.
Okay.
I'm back and forth on this one.
And that's why I just wanted to. If there are 3 people on this board who say, no matter what, we would never go to 69 feet for various reasons, then that's helpful for them. Save them a lot of time. If If there are reasons you would go to 69 feet, that's why I realize it's a black and white line. It's probably not fair, but if we'd never go to 69 feet, then let's just tell them that.
You want to take a poll?
Well, I mean,
we could vote.
Well, we can't vote on whether we'd never.
Well, no.
I don't want that
Make it a formal
locked
vote. I
in.
just would pose your question. Everybody answer it.
I guess my question is there anything that they could do and come and show us that you would say, okay, therefore, based on what you just showed me, is there anything that you would then say, okay, 69 feet is okay? And if there's nothing they could bring and show you that,
So
am I being crazy with the question?
no,
Like,
you're not, you're right about the question. And I mean, I'm thinking about the timing of the votes and the steps to take, because I know their timeline is not something we should ignore, but it's also not something we should prioritize. I think that we tend to really vet projects. I think that we tend to ask a lot from applicants, like an extenuating amount from applicants, and I think that we've asked very little from these applicants. I think we've been very sensitive to the timeline. I mean, if you go historically over the course of the project, we've asked a Herculean amount from the spot, but I don't think we've gotten, you know, as many reports and studies as we usually ask for. And the physical model is ridiculously expensive and time consuming, but this is an answer we're going to have to give the town.
You know,
And if we're close to approving it, I think we would vote a different way on whether or not.
I don't get much of the physical models. I think physical models are something that customers like to see.
I wonder if there's a way. I liked the idea of making the digital model public. I personally prefer the digital model because you can drag it and you can do the shadow
As well,
thing.
you
And
can stand there and look at it, and you can compare it to yours. You know, we were all very familiar with these views. And putting it on the table, I mean, I've been in those presentations, and it's...
my physical model.
I love it. I can't tell you how happy that makes me.
No, right. I mean,
There you go.
puts it in the lobby of his new building, and that's what happens to it.
Sorry, I had Legos at home. I figured I'd make my own model.
That's spectacular.
This tree is probably more like back here, but it's not quite in the
Right,
water.
so put the existing building back.
This is, for the record, this is not fully to scale.
Don't
in
be
case anybody's
ridiculous.
curious.
This is perfect. It's immaculate. Wait, what's next to it? So this is China
Right, not put
Sky
the other one
facing
back.
me. Okay, that's Scotty Insurance. I see it now. Okay.
That did not cost $30,000, by the way. Thank you very much.
He would take lunch or something.
I was going to say we could question on the accuracy of our.
I know. I love the digital model because it's set to 5.6, and I take that as a personal compliment.
You can take that home. It looks like, make it look like that.
Just need $1,000 worth of Legos, and you can make a really good model. Hold on. So
All right.
there was that question, and I think it's a fair question. Is there nothing, like if they brought every report you can imagine and they had the perfect mix of units for your mind and they're priced perfectly in your mind, would you be willing to give 69 feet via special permit?
I've spent a lot of time. You're not asking this fresh question. I've been like digesting this for a while. I don't know if I have an answer.
Okay. Is anybody on the board? Is there anybody on the board who says that they would never allow 69-foot building, no matter what they got? I'm just trying to help them. I really am trying to help them and help us.
I think you're making this is a wise thing to do.
Yeah.
To let them know. I can consider a 69-foot building.
I'm just looking at the zoning bylaw. What is it? 7317. And I know this is subjective, but they talk about design principles. And it says, new structures must be compatible with Winchester's historic architecture and sense of place. The town seeks new buildings that are timeless and subtle. This will be achieved in part through the design of properly scaled windows, masonry, articulation, setbacks, animated silhouettes, and use of materials that are warm, inviting, and supportive of other proposed buildings. The objectives of the CBD do not support isolated, individual architectural statements that relate only to themselves. And I know that is subjective, but I just keep coming back to this roof, which is so dominant and which is so it's an individual architectural statement, and it seems to me contrary to what the design guidelines would be.
I sensed, I think it was you, Carrie, who just sort of alluded to the possibility of having, instead of the metal, having brick up there, that it would be a more...
They showed us that.
But, you know,
And it's-
I mean, I don't...
it's hard to say
It's hard to... You don't design by committee. And
No, of course not.
And you have an architect do something, and they do it, and it's it. I can't say, oh, we'll do this differently. I don't know that that's helpful. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, patinaed copper
I
could
think-
be really
I mean-
lovely and disappear and
I mean,
green.
the green, you know... So...
Well, you know, changing the material.
But, I mean, there's a lot that could be done. I mean, we have so many capabilities that we didn't have 50 years ago in the 80s when 666 Main Street was built, you know, that we have now in terms of being able to duplicate stuff that was done that's contextual and we can do it cheaply. It's just that there is a lot of pressure to make an individual architectural statement in the design community.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to points 4 and 8 of the special permit process, impacts on neighborhood character, and the historic resources, which we just heard were recommended against, but,
Have we received the official report from the historical?
so we don't know that for sure.
Well, no, we do know it. We do know, I received email from Bruce saying that they had recommended unfavorable.
I was there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I
Can
was
you tell us?
Their primary objection was the height. They felt that it was conflicted with the historical character of the downtown. Although they liked the materials, they did acknowledge that the materials were suitable. You know, the brick facing. But that seemed to be the only thing that they were concerned about was the height.
Can I ask you a contextual question?
Yeah.
3 years ago, a building that was going to be built here, which was 7 feet shorter, they opined that it did not impact. I realize a different board, different people, but so is it those 7 feet?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
didn't say- they
everyone
didn't-
makes mistakes from time to time.
Well, I just didn't know
Maybe they
if they
changed their
said
mind.
if it were 7 feet taller, shorter. I mean, is that the difference? Is what I'm trying to understand.
it was a unit.
No.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
At the time, I was the chair of the commission, and we voted unanimously that it did not infringe on the historical character of downtown. Now, obviously, I was not, and I'm no longer a member of that commission. They changed their mind. They went unanimously. Although there were only 4 members there, they were unanimously opposed to it.
And also, in fairness, this board, which had very different membership, voted favorable action on a building that was 7 feet shorter and said that it putatively met the requirements of PUD 3.
How many units were in that one? Do you remember?
I'm just pointing out that that the height was not.
I don't remember the exact
I mean,
number.
the PUD included this parcel, obviously not considering the wetland. Like it took the height and kind of made it like, you know, like which kind of amplifies it in a way. And I remember that model. It's a big building.
This is an opinion here. This is preferable than a 62-foot building that took up the whole lot. I mean,
Yeah, I remember.
this is a better proposal than that.
Yeah.
And that proposal by a different board was recommended favorable action. We are not bound by a previous vote of a previous board on a previous project, but just some context. So I would not be totally against 69 feet if there were additional affordable housing. If there weren't, I would not be able to support 69 feet. I don't think it meets the diversity of housing the way I read it, the way I see it. And I don't know if you had a chance to, if you have an opinion on, and again, I want to give them some guidance.
I don't know. I don't know that I have that I could give guidance, and
Okay.
you know, yeah, I mean, it's a difficult question, and I don't know what I would say. You know, I think I've said what I wanted to say.
Because we're going to, at some point in time, have to vote on this project. And we will have to have, it'll be a yes or a no at that point in time. And it sounds like, what information do we need from them, each of you? Let's make a list of what things we need that would allow us to make a vote on this at some point in time. Because without that, we're just going to keep on having another meeting after meeting, waiting for them to hit some magic spot that we all have in mind that we're not saying.
I would like to see a specific breakdown of square footage of each one of these apartments, and specifically which apartments would be designated affordable and workforce units.
That takes some time, and they have to hammer it out with the
Pardon me?
EOHLC. I think they have to hammer that out with EOHLC. That just FYI, I think.
Okay,
Before
but
they
They
can
would
say
be
this one is
median.
affordable and this one's
I
affordable.
think they would be more like the median units because they can't be the smallest and they can't be the largest.
Exactly. So, I mean, we could infer that, all right?
Yeah.
Based on what we know. I mean, once I saw, when it was the 972 Main Street project, once I saw how they laid that out, I felt more comfortable improving it. That's a big question mark in my mind right now with this project. But otherwise, I'm satisfied with the project.
So you're looking for specific breakdown of square footage and which would be affordable in workforce to some extent.
To some extent,
What they're targeting, even
Yes.
if ultimately it would be up to them working with Housing Partnership Board and the
that would be
UHLC.
part of our motion, of course.
Yeah.
But what they envision.
Carrie, what are you looking for that you do not have at this time?
I guess just internal clarity. Do you have that for me?
I don't know if I can
I
give that
don't.
to
We
you.
need the report from I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Wetlands Protection Act was easier criteria to follow. Design review voted. They have not voted yet.
No,
Design review voted 4-2 in favor.
4-2 in favor.
Yeah.
And
They may
historic
have-
voted 5-0 against.
They may have reconsidered, I don't know, but as of the last meeting that I
They
attended,
have a meeting on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
They're not, it's not a final.
I think it's final. I'm just saying that the Historical Commission chose to not have an opinion and then chose to have an opinion.
Exactly.
Which is fair. I'm not going to make somebody. So you don't have any specific
Go
asks?
through the other two. I'm thinking. I don't think I have any specific
I
asks.
guess
I think I have the
what
information.
I mean, to make the top of the building look more like Brown and Stanton with large soffits and gables, I'm assuming that would diminish the square footage and impact the economics of the structure and make it have to be taller. So I realize it's difficult, or even have it look like one of the historic buildings in Paris where they've got the mansards, which mansard allows you to use the top floor as a full story. But I'm going to go on the assumption that it was done for reason, that has to do with fitting everything in. So I'm just reluctant to really. And again, you can't design by committee. So yeah.
So that would be a request.
I don't know that
It's a request. It's a thought.
Yeah.
What's the, I think, what's the FAR is drawn?
2.7, I believe.
2.7.
Which is in the range that requires.
Yeah.
But they go hand in hand.
If we approve it as a PUD 2 and 3 kind of.
They match. Yeah. You're going to both. Although it's kind of, in my mind, these height is unlimited, but the FAR would limit it. I mean, they couldn't be 30 stories because the FAR would stop that. But this building probably could be, we could say it could be 7, and the FAR probably doesn't quite hit, depending on how they do it, probably doesn't quite hit 3.0.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, in my mind, that a 5th story, which is the same as a 6th story, so if they meet the PUD,
And the
give them a
area,
5th story,
just
we get to the next story.
Just going back to the math of it, is the FAR being calculated on the degraded land that's buildable within the parameters of the
FAR
lawsuit?
on the entire site, FAR,
Yeah,
But do you see what I'm saying?
but still the lot.
The buildable lot.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
not.
no,
It's on the lot.
It's not the envelope, the buildable envelope, it's the size of the lot.
Yeah.
Like, when you think
Yeah.
about lot, required lot area,
Yeah.
you count the setback that you can't build in. That's part of what you.
You count the hill behind my house that no
Right.
one could build anything on because it's at this angle, but it still counts.
When we did the new zoning for North Main and we said we were going to require a 12-foot sidewalk, we understood that the owners might have to, contribute 4 or 5 feet. We weren't going to take that area away from them, in terms of their lot size and their ratio, that was still their lot,
Okay.
So that's why.
It wouldn't be like, because you had wetlands, you had a 20,000-foot lot and it had an area of wetlands.
Yeah.
It might have been 500 feet. Now you have a 19,500-foot lot, so it's not buildable.
Yeah.
It's not kind of the way it's.
Just like an extra burden because it's litigated.
So John, is there anything
I would need, if we could have an improvement in affordable units. I know that this is that yielding any more of the square footage that you plan to sell at market rates is difficult, but if somehow we could, repurpose some space and make it make it an additional
Lowercase
units.
affordable or
Meeting the
affordable by 80% of
Right.
area median income, capital A.
inclusionary,
Yeah.
so that would,
Okay.
and
Jack, is there anything you need?
I think I gave it.
Oh, you did.
The-
Yes,
the
yes,
square
yes.
footage
So
of
no,
it.
it's Carrie who said come back to me.
Carrie was,
Sorry,
Yeah, I mean, I
sorry.
think-
I have that. I think I'll go first if you'd like.
Go for it.
I think we need these plans fleshed out as far as the floor plans. I would be comfortable voting on this building as a 5-story building with the ratio, just the underlying ratio. I think asking for 6 stories is a tall ask. Sorry, that was a pun. And I think it needs more affordable units for that to be.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If it were 5 stories and there was no setback at the 5th story as there is now, would you be happy with that? Which would allow them to have,
No.
maybe make up the difference?
No, in fact, a long
You still
time
want the
ago,
setback. I
a
know you
long
said you
time
wanted-
ago in this process, what I really hoped for was along Mount Vernon for it to be a 3-story with the setback.
I remember, yes.
And we saw some renderings, and I actually agree that the rendering with 4 stories looked better, but I don't agree that a 5-story without a setback would look better.
Okay.
So, obviously, once with all the detail filled in, I could be comfortable voting on a project like this. I think this project adds a lot to the town. It has what they've committed to having green space accessible to the public. Somebody else doesn't need to come in and do that. They could fence that off. They have commercial space on Mount Vernon Street. They have commercial space on the pond. Getting rid of the parking lot back there and having the commercial space to connect directly to the pond was a huge value. The parking's all underground. I'm uncomfortable with the height. And for me, I don't see the give back for the height. And the give back would be additional affordable units or less height. And I guess I would say 5 stories. So, I mean, that's where I stand.
Pretty clear?
Yeah, my tension's in the same place. The 6-story will dominate the landscape, and it will go to 3 units. And there'll be 2 of them will be, $2 million units, and we may need that. That might be adding to the diversity, but I don't think... I don't think I can see myself approving the 6th story for 3 units. I don't know how many it would take. I know your next question will be, well, then what is the criteria?
No, that wasn't actually.
Well, it would be the reasonable ask, but
Yeah.
it's such a nice building and it's such a good use of the lot. It's just so huge. The other trade-off is that this would be what would finally grow the housing in the CBD, because it would be like, well, if they can do that, we can, we'd finally get away from no housing in the CBD.
I would point out that this building as built, well, it's not their job to help our subsidized housing inventory. We would actually fall behind in our SHI ratio because it would have 3 units per 34. Which doesn't say it's not their job to fix that problem, but if they were building it by right, then it wouldn't be their job if they're coming for the diversity of housing. So that's why I come to, I would be comfortable if there were 2 additional affordable units, which would actually push the needle the other way. And if not, then 1 story fewer, which would also at least keep us even. So we have...
If Waterfield doesn't get built, our subsidized housing inventory goes further backwards, so this is...
So, question to the board. Do we want to invite Paul to the table and/or any of the representatives to address these? Or do we want to...
It's fair.
I mean, he's the applicant.
Right, but when we just have them respond when they've had time to work on it? Or
Give them a chance to make sure they understand what we're talking about.
Everyone stop berating us. We work really hard on these projects.
Well, I mean, I guess the reason I say invite them over to the table is because if they say to us, 5 stories is a deal breaker, additional affordable units are a deal breaker, I don't see a path forward.
It's good to know
And
that
if they
now.
come over and say, yeah, give us a week and we'd come back to you with something that we think can, what they heard, that's valuable too. I mean, either way, I just don't want to be here for 6 months. I want to move forward or fish or cut bait.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say that.
Could you guys come back to the table? You've heard us. I'm sure it's agonizing. I'm sorry that you couldn't speak. I'm sure it's agonizing listening. I've been on the other side of many meetings.
Yeah, it's
like this.
the way you set up your process, it's very difficult because you can't really engage in a dialogue about the architecture.
Okay.
And that's so it's hard. It's a hard process. I'm not used to it, so forgive me if I was speaking out of turn, but it's not what I'm accustomed to.
Well, we do very much appreciate the debate. The discussion is very useful for us to hear. If you're good with it, I'd like to react to sort of try to bring this to some bit of
That'd be
conclusion.
very helpful. Okay. I mean, we all want to fish or cut bait, right? We all want to. Yeah.
Right. This is helpful, and I appreciate that it's difficult to bring things to a head and make decisions, but I think we're getting there. So, in no particular order, let's just talk about sort of the economic viability. Someone asked if this could be economically viable if it was only 4 stories or 5 stories. So, and then rightly so, someone noted that it's all about the purchase price. So the context here is the purchase price, is based on how much the lender hopes to recover, the current owner. They have, a huge amount of money out, and we initially tried to kind of, not fully understanding the context until we started to get into it during our due diligence. We came and said, okay, we could pay that price because we're going to build this big building, and it had certain economics. We quickly discovered that big building wasn't approvable. It was being litigated and all sorts of problems because of the width. So we quickly came to the conclusion, thanks to the guidance of Conservation Commission, that the building needed to be shortened up. We needed to sort of live within our means, we called that at the time. We negotiated with the lender to bring the price down accordingly. So they brought the price down. There's only one lever to pull for this price on acquisition, and so they did that, and that was great. Then we presented the building as we are still kind of presenting today, 6 stories. We reconfigured, we made it much better, like you all said, and we appreciate the guidance you gave us to get there together. Taylor did a great job representing the planning board's interests, and ultimately we got rid of that crazy parking system. We got rid of the crazy blue roof. We got rid of parking at grade. We restored retail in the front and the back of the building. We made the common green space accessible, all the things we talked about that are great for the project. But we couldn't get rid of that 6th floor, which is the problem. And believe us, if we could get rid of the 6th floor, we would have done it 3 months ago, because you would have been happy, we would have been on our way. It's just not in the cards, because what we need is another price reduction from the lender, so the owner. So we said, hey, owner, we could get this building approved, like we've all said, 5-story building. It's not to characterize your statements, but it sounds like that would go through. They said, well, that's great and all, but we have to minimize our losses, and what we can do is take the next best deal, which is what they got for auction, could have gotten for auction, decided not to take it at the time because they knew we were out there willing to pay more for a building that we're presenting today and have been presenting for months. And that building is the alternative, I know it's speculation, but it really is, a 40B. And a 40B, as you described, has no limits on height. They don't come to the planning board. There's nothing to say about the height, the materiality, the parking. It could be 30 stories. It could be 6. It could be 50. Not matter. We're not 40B developers, and we wouldn't be likely any part of that. But the reality is, as some of you noted, we don't get a first-class, really, world-class architect with a scene. We don't get brick and metal. We get stucco and cement board. We don't get height. We don't get discussions that hopefully bring the project forward. We don't get green space. We don't get retail. We just get units and tall, and and that's fine. That some people prefer that. In fact, it sounds like. But that's the economic viability question and the alternatives. So if we don't get this approved, it's not because we want to make lives difficult. We want to get to yes together. And maybe there's a path to get to yes, and we can get to that. But ultimately, if it's not us, I suspect, speculation, that's who it's going to be, because that's the writing's on the wall for that. So we're talking about 7 feet of height. Everybody loved the 62-foot, well, I won't say it that way. The 62-foot story building was approved previously. There's 62 feet there today. We're asking for 7 feet more, and it's highly controversial, understandably. So what we get out of that is, how do we listen to what you said to make this work? We could certainly make any approval contingent on giving you the square footage unit mix. We have it today. We could present it today. I know you don't want that, but we have it. We can give it to you. We can show you our proposal for which ones are affordable. We go through these exercises all the time. In fact, the very person assigned to this project from the state is someone we worked with on our project in Salem. We know what they want. It's going to be a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom. There's 3 affordables, not 5. Just for the record.
There's two 120.
There's 3 affordables and no workforce required in this calculation.
There's 2 workforce required in this calculation.
We've confirmed the requirement, unless we've gotten it wrong, with the Housing Partnership Chair, I believe through Taylor, and it's 15% of the first 25 and 5% of the marginal thereafter, and that's 3 units. Maybe.
That's not correct.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
But I know, John, we had a disagreement on how that was calced, but we confirmed it. We think, whatever it is, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 3. Whatever it is, we're totally compliant. And we can give you the selection. We understand how it works. It's the same finishes. It's not all clustered together. It's distributed throughout the building. So we could address, I think, Jack's primary concerns. John's concerns about improving the affordable units, repurposing some space, I think maybe was very similar to yours, Brian, where you'd be more comfortable if you got something more. We didn't mean to disappoint by not coming in with that tonight. We didn't really know we were just trying to comply with the law, with the bylaw. But hearing that you'd like to have another affordable unit, and if we could repurpose, we found a perfect little corner when we were thinking about it. Keep the Mount Vernon retail, and as it turns the corner where the other residential units are, we could slice that and reconfigure the bike room and the little bit of retail and the unit next to it and put in another affordable unit. And we'd be delighted to give the community 4 units. That would be in keeping with the ratio of the 40B community-wide. 10% of 34 more units is 3.4 to keep you constant. You get slightly ahead with the 4th one. So we do that. That's a big give, we hope. So is 2. It's a big accommodation to get 6 floors. That maybe is another $1 million subsidy, as we described, or whatever it is. We're using median pricing. Affordable, little a affordable. So to us, the metric for little a affordable is what does the market want? And that's diversity too. If someone said they spoke to the broker and they said they'd sell it out in a week, well, that's not what we think, but that's music to our ears. And that means there's real demand for this. There's a need for this housing here in the community. And it's affordable enough that people in the community, not the people on the lower end of the economic earning spectrum, or even the higher end perhaps, but less than median. Average is median. So if the average home is $1.48 million in Winchester, we've got a lot of homes that we're going to be selling that are less than that. Affordable, maybe, but one definition of affordable is less than the average. So anything less than 1.48 million in this building, which is many units by the metrics we discussed, I know it's weird to sound like to say something that expensive is affordable, but a $700,000 unit is very affordable for Winchester. It's half the average. So in that sense, I think we meet the criteria to call it little a affordable. Capital A affordable is by bylaw, and we'll give a 3rd more. We'll give the 4th unit, or whatever we need to do, however the calc works, we'll give another unit. So that helps us get to yes, I hope, with perhaps what John and Brian requested. And not so sure with Carrie and Nick's comments what we can do to help. We're open to hear it. I don't think we can design a Paris-like mansard. We think we tried to do the best we could by sloping the roofs a little bit and addressing the other concerns. And I'm not 100% sure maybe, we'd love to listen to more. If Carrie and Nick had some ways to, that we might be able to address their needs.
Paul, I did have just two quick thoughts on that, because I fully recognize the concern of the profile of the sixth floor. One thing that we didn't have a chance to talk about is the materiality of it. We are proposing it as a pre-patinated copper top, right, which is a historic material, a high-quality historic material. However, that being said, we are absolutely open to exploring other material options for that higher level. There is synthetic slate, there's copper that patinas in a brown. We're not trying to call attention to the top two floors with a sharp color. We chose that color because actually, we have been at this for a few years. That was a recommendation that was made on the earlier project by the folks at that time who are interested in that materiality. So I just want to be absolutely clear that we are very open to exploring a different materiality for those upper levels. There are outdoor spaces there, which is something that is an important aspect of the project. I mean, think about the view and what it would be like to live there. And to the extent that we can soften or mitigate, particularly the side of the building that faces back towards the Starbucks view, we can we can look at that. That doesn't do anything about the height, but I can commit to you that we would be very happy to work with you to refine the look, feel, texture, color of those upper levels. Sorry.
No, fine.
That's what I wanted to say when you were having this discussion about it earlier.
I appreciate your patience.
Okay, yeah.
Hopefully that's helpful to the board.
No, and the copper patina look is a good thought. I mean,
well, just as a point of historic reference, the reason copper turned green was because we burned coal, and it was the sulfur that made copper green, and that's why it's a historic material. Today, we don't burn coal, so copper turns brown. And in many ways, it's much softer and more neutral as a color with red brick. And we do that a lot. Zinc is another option.
One often thinks of the Empire State Building when you think about copper, and that kind of patina.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the era of coal. Right. But so again, I know that there's a lot of, and the model maybe someone made the point about what that green looks like when you look at this way or that way. Happy to come back with alternative materials that you may find calmer. So just putting that out there.
So moreover, we want to get to yes. We want to be good stewards of this property and good citizens here, new to Winchester, and make this building something people can be proud of. Notwithstanding the 7 feet that is 7 feet, we think that between our willingness to work together, our ability to give another affordable unit, all the contributions the project makes, we hope that you'll find it acceptable. And we appreciate the guidance that we've gotten tonight. We'd love to bring this to a head. If you feel like you have enough to vote tonight, that obviously we'd appreciate that. If not, we'll maybe the next time. But we can make any decisions you make. We can put contingencies on to follow up with things that are important, but maybe aren't necessarily the things that you're going to hang your hat on the approval for. That's obviously your prerogative.
I agree with you. I would say not that I want to get to yes, I want to get to a decision. And if the decision is yes or no, no offense, I want us to get to a decision. So I agree in that regard. Do you guys, anybody have any questions for them?
No, my thought is that it would be nice to, we love them, but we hear a lot from the vocal minority. And for me, I think I would like time for more people to see the model, even if it's a recording of this session. I kind of take very seriously the feedback from the people who will be living around it. Because I hear more often from people walking through downtown, what is that ugly laundry building? Like, how do we do something about that? So I think time to draw attention to, I don't know if there's a way to do a public, I mean, we have our public hearing here, we have the model here, and we have this, like a small group that reliably attends.
I give a shout out at town meeting last night. With
Yeah,
an
we
image
could do
that said,
that.
come tonight.
Or just watch the meeting, because
watch
we
the
have a
meeting.
nice
They could be
model.
they could be
How
watching.
do we get more of an audience at town meeting than you get anywhere else?
Well, I mean, if we can mark the times on WinCam, like watch for minute, whatever to get a sense
I mean,
of
we
the
can't do
model.
anything on WinCam, in town meeting. It's not a public hearing. We can't do much. All I did was point out that we were having this discussion. I gave an image of the building. I said, come tomorrow night. We're having a public hearing. We did not get a huge stellar turnout of town meeting members, despite the fact that we were all there last night too. So I don't sense that this board is ready to vote anything tonight.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah.
But if someone has we've got those four waivers. The reason I go back to the model is I don't want to next week or 2 weeks from now have them come and say, well, that model that you didn't ever start, we're not going to do it. We're not going to vote without that, or we're going to vote no unless we have that. I mean, they could do a Lego model. That's not a bad model, actually. I was pretty happy with that.
Love your Lego
I like the
model.
black
It
on the
makes
side
me
there.
really-
So that's why I brought the model up.
I probably have things I could add to that model. Adirondack chairs.
But actually, it's an interesting comment about, I mean, I can laugh at the Lego, I mean, I can, appreciate what you're doing there. But actually, it's very telling because the 3 or 4 weeks and $30,000 or $40,000 that it's going to cost to build an extruded white model of all of this is going to tell you not much more than what that is telling you right now.
Yep.
And that's how you're going to experience it. Whereas the 3D model, which we are very happy to make available however it needs to be made available. And, even Dylan could come and do a session with some interested parties if that was something that, made a difference. We're willing to do that. It's not like we're trying to hide anything.
No, of course not.
So I think that's my feeling about the model, and I think your point, Carrie, about giving people a chance to sort of look from minute here to minute there is a good start. And then if someone really wants to see more or really has a particular vantage point or viewpoint that they want to understand, we can either provide it or make arrangements for them to see it. It's,
And I found that sitting down earlier today and actually saying, go here, back up, turn left, go here, make it nighttime, all these things that I could do were helpful for me. And respectfully, I feel badly because the audience members didn't have that chance. And so I get why they are saying, hey, we don't see this as well as you did. So I think that would be, if that's something that you're able to do, to have maybe, I don't know how we'd publicize it, how we'd do it, but we can communicate to have some
Throw it on the town page.
Open hour where people can come in and do what we did, and by committee in the back and say, hey, look down this street, tell us what this looks like, make it nighttime. It was very helpful for me to the point where I don't need a physical model because that was helpful enough. I'm willing to say I don't need one aside from my Lego model. But I'm just one member of the committee.
I would concur. I made the same comment this afternoon to Carrie.
I will make my personal statement and then throw a caveat right on it, so don't get excited. I am personally satisfied with that because I was picturing the one that we got today when I was wishing we had a model, because what I wanted to see was the shadowing and the scale in relation to the rest of the building. And for me, it's enough information. But if people actually take a look at the meeting and see it and say, if there's a backlash, we need to see if physical model.
We're faced with kind of the perennial problem it'd be nice if you could just put a flyer at every single person's doorstep. Because.
But I think
because
if you,
no
I
one
mean,
is gonna-
I can probably make, I can probably make a slightly wider group of people than are here today watch a section of video. I feel like each of us could probably make a small group of people watch a section of video and get a more representative sample than we're.
And we've been inviting people to our office for 30 years. I mean, if someone really wants to come and sit down with Dylan and us in our office, they're welcome to.
Maybe we'll just move town meeting to their office.
I was,
Get everyone over.
I took my grandchildren to the Lego place in Assembly Square. I don't know if you haven't been there yet, I'm sure. Oh, you have been?
Yeah.
Okay. Naomi was too young for that. Anyhow, they have this wonderful scale of downtown Boston and the Fenway and everything, and I thought, that's neat. And
Yeah.
I've seen these fancy, expensive models that are usually wind up in somebody's lobby, and they're really fascinating.
I know, I wouldn't mind it for the library. It would
But
be cool to
There's
have.
an amazing model of the city of Boston in City Hall.
In
that
City
is-
Hall.
There's a whole huge room.
I haven't seen
Like
that.
twice the size of this room with
Just
them all,
walk in.
and no one ever sees it.
But I would agree, and I think that while they're fascinating to look at, you feel like a giant or something. I still think that this digital was just superb, and I really got a lot out of it. And I told Dylan that to say this afternoon. It was really good. So as Brian said, we said, show me what the shadows look like. Let's move through the day as we did tonight. Let's see how it looks from over on Mystic Valley
Spent a lot
Parkway.
of time on it.
Happy to share.
It was very enlightening. I can't imagine what a model would show me that I didn't see here. And we even got underneath it and let me see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like from the fire station. I don't think there was any distortion. I really don't. I mean, I think.
And again, the members of the public didn't have that full
I
experience
agree.
that 4 of the 5 of us
I agree.
were able to have.
Although this was a pretty good demonstration tonight.
So
Yeah, let me at least drag some precinct 3 feedback out because
I think
that's
I've lost
close
track
by.
of the fact that we do have another group that we can't postpone till next time.
and I don't believe they're in the audience.
Oh, they are, so maybe we could postpone it then.
No, we can't postpone it,
Yeah.
but that should be quick as soon as they're done.
It's gonna be a late night, Nick Tank. Buckle up. We're almost.
Okay, I do this every night. Taylor, how do you recommend we move forward? See, I assume you're expecting that question coming up any moment now. So that's why we pay you the big bucks.
As I think I try to be as partial as I can in these circumstances. I think that this was actually a rather productive conversation. It may not feel that way to everyone, but I think that we needed to talk about this in the way that we just haven't had the opportunity to. There are a bunch of directions that we can take. We can vote on any of the waivers. Now that, of course, isn't voting on the special permit. That's just saying.
Stop worrying about that part.
Yeah. Or we can continue the hearing. I think we've given some direction, and then hope that I'll follow up with the applicants as I always do, and hope that we come back at the next meeting with more detail.
And would you think, and this is a question for you, and then also the board afterwards, that we could get to a point of making a vote at the next meeting? Sorry, that might be a lot to ask, but
He's
I mean,
been
I think it's
around
a
for too long
question.
now
I
to
know
be
it's a question
gambling
that the
it.
applicants are thinking, and they didn't want to ask, or they did sort of ask it.
They appreciate you asking, I'm sure.
Get the land in December, make it a Christmas present.
I think that it is possible, but I think that this board needs to maybe I don't know.
Okay, I
don't
know
know.
the spot.
Do you want to know how many of us would be ready to vote at the next meeting? Is that helpful? Are you wondering when, I don't know, what's your,
If we get a response from all these things, we've got response verbal, but there's a couple of things that are going to get to us on paper, and we got all those things, and we had them, and we studied up, in our next meeting, would that be enough for us to vote on these waivers and potentially vote on the special permit? I would also add that between now and then, I would want to have somehow access for the general public to be able to see that, so that they are informed. But that's a different story. than us.
I would say before we adjourn this hearing that we need to take a vote on whether or not we're going to waive the requirement for the physical model. To that end, I would make that motion that we may...
Do we have to make that formal, or do
I
we
think
just...
we do.
just
It's
say
a waiver.
that we're moving in that direction and that,
And I'll see if I get a second. I move that we waive the requirement that they provide us with a physical model.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that motion for a waiver?
I mean, I don't think I personally need it, but, I mean, it is in the bylaws. I don't think I would personally hold up the process on account of it, but again, it's in the bylaws.
That's the need for a waiver
My impression is that the need for the physical model is to sort of get our heads around the scope and the scale of the building, and I think I'm very satisfied that the scope and the scale of the building is way outside the current scope and scale of the CBD. And so that, to me, is not going to be additive, and it will be expensive and time-consuming. But if again, if there are people if there's general interest, I will feel bad letting it go when it's in the bylaw, but personally, I feel like the physical model covers it.
I said before, and I'll say again, I would be willing to waive that. Again, contingent on, and they've said that they would set up a time, and so that people could either go to their office or come here. Here would be more preferable for like an hour, and we could actually post it as a public, not a public meeting. We wouldn't come. We just let members of the public come, and they could.
It's a good idea.
Come see, and we wouldn't even be there to hear what they have to say. They would just...
Taylor and/or Ian would be here.
Maybe pick 2 dates.
Yeah.
I do think that
An hour, perhaps.
either Taylor or Ian need to be here just to sort
Somebody,
of...
I think Ian would need to be here to help
guide the discussion, answer questions.
and get the software to work.
That's up to Dylan.
Bring our laptop.
Yeah. So, all in favor, I'm going to do a roll call of the motion that was moved and seconded. Nick.
I guess so.
John.
Aye.
Carrie.
No, because I think it's premature for me.
Okay. Jack.
Aye.
Can I change mine to no?
I'll allow it, and I vote aye as well. So we have waived the need for a physical model. And we will work with you, or Taylor will work with you to set up a time.
Yeah, we'll try and be as helpful as possible. And I would actually suggest that, since it is in your bylaws, that you do a survey of other municipalities and local communities to sort of see what the standard practice is today, because it has changed quite a bit.
I mean, we need to audit the bylaw.
We need to update our bylaws in general, but
Dinosaur
that's a topic.
I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I appreciate that. No, we definitely need to do that.
If it uses, I mean, I think the setback one is less controversial.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just trying to knock off waivers, I'm not ready to vote on the second or third.
I'm not ready to vote on the
PUD
other 2 waivers at all.
But
No,
the
I'm not either. I don't
setback,
think we can vote on the setback waiver.
I don't know how much does that probably.
Most of the setbacks, I mean, please, no help. And the setbacks were things that were discussed and negotiated the first go-round. That's why
They're generally positive.
Well, they're providing us a broader sidewalk. It'll feel
Right.
much nicer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the spirit of the zero setback was to make sure that there was active engagement and a consistent
Yeah.
line through the CBD, but this building's its own ecosystem. So I think
I mean, we
2
wanted,
feet is kind of
you know,
fine
when
for
we did
scale.
North Main, we wanted to have a broad sidewalk.
Yes,
But
no,
that's- they're using it.
I'm saying I think I understand how the CBD got to the zero setback and why they're preventing people from stepping
Because
back, but I think this
elsewhere,
one should step back.
You were where
Yeah.
Starbucks is. You wouldn't want it to be pushed back in and
Right.
have but.
Yeah, we don't want to
This
zigzag.
makes a lot of sense.
So is someone interested in making a motion to waive the setbacks the requirement on both Converse and Mount?
I will make
Vernon?
that motion.
I will second that motion. We're back in
Additional
action.
discussion on that waiver. Nick?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Jack?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So those 2 of 4 waivers, I'm not sure those were the big two that you wanted knocked out tonight, but they are two that move us forward a little bit.
We can vote on something, you know.
I would really like to be at a point where we could vote on those two other waivers at our next meeting.
Me too.
Those waivers. And, I mean, essentially, if we vote no on those waivers, we're hearing that the project's dead. So it doesn't mean that we would then necessarily approve the special permit, but I would really like to, if we can, I would really like to do that by next 2 weeks from now.
And just to summarize our efforts to do public engagement, we're going to have times that will be posted for people to engage with the model in person if they want to, and then are we relying on time-marked recordings from WinCam, or are we doing a separate Zoom with a model walkthrough, or what are we?
I think it would be time marked from this meeting.
Okay.
I don't
When does
want
WinCam post them?
WinCam to have to get involved with that meeting, the meeting that this would be an untelevised meeting that they have. I think that's just more fair to everybody involved.
Yeah.
To not be on the spot on television. I assume that no one wants
When
to be
does
on
that
television
get,
more
does
than they
anyone
have
know when they post? How long is it before they post?
So now we need a motion to continue the hearing to November 18th.
Is that the motion you're making?
That is my motion.
I second.
And is mine.
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Thank you. Thank you to the public. Thank you to you guys. I know this is not easy for everyone, and I appreciate your patience. I appreciate their patience. I can put this away now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know you can't get enough of us.
Thank you. And thanks for the demonstration, Dylan, this afternoon. That was great.
So that moves us into what I hope will be a quick discussion of Z25-24, which is for 35 Grove Place. I'm going to wait 2 seconds until they have exited the room. I actually thought I was taking you guys all out for drinks tonight.
I still think you
looking
might.
forward to that.
I thought we were going to be done by 9.
We still could go. We
It's either that or we all go home and drink alone in our kitchens.
We could still go and you don't have to pay.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It just expires on whether Brian pays or Jack pays. No, wait, John's the vice chair. John pays after 10 and Brian pays before 10.
There you go. That works.
That works.
Probably have to buy more drinks after 10.
That's right. It's harder alcohol. We gotta get right to sleep.
I don't have anything going on tomorrow. How about you?
I have to
No,
prep a
no.
whole nother town meeting presentation for Thursday night that I haven't written yet for GIS.
Oh, really?
So I'm working with the school committee tomorrow on that. So yeah, I would ask Ian if you would kick us off on petition Z25-24 for 35 Grove Place and tell us what we're looking at, which I always do. So thank you for asking you to do that.
The petitioners are seeking site plan approval for retaining walls and brick paver hardscape features that result in a grade change of more than 500 square feet by more than 6% as it applies to 35 Grove Street.
Okay.
Are there any quick pictures we can look at, or? I mean,
Mostly just photographic.
So just the topo, maybe?
There were some photographs.
Yeah, it was like it's a very weird lot.
So this
Very
site
steep.
is an interesting site
I saw the building. It's a small house.
because they've already done the work.
Exactly.
What?
They've already done the work,
Yeah, I think there was a cease.
and they did not get approval.
Is there a cease and desist on this?
So they are now going through the process. And so I would like to argue that our job tonight is not,
I got it.
our job tonight is not to punish them or anything. It's to if they hadn't done this, looking at it as a clean slate, would we vote to recommend favorable action on this?
I like that. It seemed fine to me. It seemed pretty cut and dry.
I think it's just in the link that,
Right, it was in the link. I didn't know what to look at. So.
Right, Ian, I got a
Page 6.
Meeting packet.
60.
Fancy paperclip back.
Oh, thank you so much. There's so many of these. My daughter went through a school supplies phase.
No, I don't.
Oh, wait, what am I in?
And she outgrew it, and I was left with a lot of fancy.
Oh, here we go. So we're trying to look at photos.
That's the one I think that probably.
That's a good dramatic switch. Our house could be clobbered by this hill, or
Oh, wow.
So this is the new wall?
I assume it's both walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Step back, okay.
What's that? Is that?
That's the hill behind their house, yeah.
Okay, so that all these are existing.
They are now existing,
Yeah, they're now
but
existing.
I would argue, and you can free to do what you want, that we should imagine it hasn't been done, and would we recommend it?
Right.
Or would we say, no, you shouldn't do this?
So go back to the one
I
with the
think we would say yes
walls.
and please hurry
So-
because
My
this.
screen porch that way.
Yeah.
So would it have been,
Forgiveness
would
is
have been
easier than
trees all the way
permission.
down?
It would have been
Just the way it is in the back?
trees all the way down and a slope. It would be like that, which is on the
Can you
side,
also
so you
do a
don't quite
physical
see it.
model? I feel like it's my turn for an art project.
Huh. That's a lot of work.
That's exactly what I was thinking. For like that,
For what?
for not a lot
The
of
people
area.
behind our house did that as well,
But
and
it's
I think.
not-
I think you don't
I
get
think
much.
it gives
I
you
mean,
some yard as opposed to no yard.
They have, like,
Yeah,
it's
I-
like 4 feet. But,
It's not ours to judge whether
no, I
it's
would,
worth doing.
I don't have a problem with them doing that. You know, that looks fine.
So we are looking for, this is site
Do you know how long
plan
ago?
review or special permit?
Plan approval.
Site plan approval.
Do you know how long ago they did this?
They just had a stop work order, so they completed the project, and then someone reported them after the project was done.
So did engineering retroactively make sure this is fine?
Yeah, actually, the engineering on this is really good.
Okay.
It's actually a really well-done wall. That doesn't mean anything about the site plan approval. But
say
this is
if we're imagining
this is
it
one of the
hasn't
better walls I've
happened,
ever seen.
Engineering would have been thrilled.
Yeah.
Great. I see the drainage pipe, I think. Great. All right, I love
We'll
it.
find out when it rains. But
I move to issue forgiveness at 35 Grove Plains.
People in our neighborhood put
Hail
in one
Marys
of these without approval, and it collapsed at the first rainfall, and then they had to go through the process after that.
Yikes.
So,
All right, so
Someone
huge
needs help.
grade change, family in danger, engineering's happy. What
so
do you
we need a motion and a rationale in the motion.
Oh, I gotta do this, don't I?
Sorry, it is 9:45.
I move to
Recommend favorable,
recommend favorable action on the,
because it has no negative impact on,
yeah, it's just weird to word it because it's
because the
retroactive.
proposed wall would have no negative impact.
Could we say it has a positive impact on the home? No, I don't know. I guess it has no negative, it would
It's the slope
have,
we're worried about because of the site review, right?
yes, it's the grade, so it,
Yeah.
To me, the issue of these retaining walls, this is me personally, is when they're in the front yard, and it causes you
yeah,
to be
no,
driving
I
down a
totally
canyon.
understand it. I'm just making sure we put the tents, I don't want it to, like, are we trying to create a ghost paper trail like we did see this before it got done?
No,
So
but
there-
I just think it's not our job to, we're not trying to punish them, we're trying to just do the process the way it would have been done if they had done it right.
Okay, so I move to recommend favorable action on the retaining wall at 35 Grove Place because it had a positive impact.
Well, it looks a lot bigger in the other photos.
Positive impact on the slope,
On the,
stabilizing impact on the slope,
great.
okay?
And no negative impact on the neighborhood.
Okay. I'll second that.
Thank you. Nick, it sounded like you had a thought, so I didn't want to.
Oh, no, I'm just looking at it's helpful to see all the photos. I mean,
Yeah, I looked.
especially the earlier ones.
Yeah, it is big.
Big wall.
Because there are some pre what it looked like before.
Like, how did their wall person not say you're probably going to need a permit for this?
Like this is the first one. I think looks like it's going right into the house, and then
Yeah, that's pretty.
Must have cost a fortune.
And then there's just the ground.
How much?
And then there's a picture of a large section of, it gives them a lot of space. The last,
So we have a motion and a second, and I didn't want to cut you off. We can
No.
still have debate, but when debate is done, I'm happy to.
oh, right, no, it's fine.
Okay. All in favor? We don't need roll calls.
Aye.
Okay, vote is unanimous.
I love all
vote
the
on
pictures of them
minutes?
just staring at the hill. It's like,
Do that next time.
Well, we have a couple of things I think that,
Oh, so if someone wants to see the model,
we're going to set that, we'll set,
Michelle McCarthy, you might want to see it.
we'll set it up.
I
Okay.
hope people want to see. I feel like it's going to be.
When would be the best time?
Huge
What time of
change,
day
we're
would
not
be the best
hearing
time to
enough
do
about
it? Midday or evening or what?
Next to the Girl Scout cookies. That
I mean, I think we pick a couple days,
yeah, I pick like in.
right? I mean, I honestly think they'd be agreeable to doing one early evening and one,
Late afternoon?
Does it have to be with them? I mean,
They have access.
they're the ones who.
no,
go
but,
ahead.
Dylan's gotta
but
be
they're
the
going
one
to give
to
their
do it.
sales pitch to everyone that looks at it.
I don't think they will. I think I just show it to them.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, they
it
didn't give
wasn't-
us much of a sales
when they
pitch.
showed the model, there was no sales pitch. They
Okay.
were just like,
Okay.
they sold the model. He was really proud of his model. He should be.
Okay.
Right, but he's gonna,
Okay.
you're gonna need him to walk this way, walk that.
Oh, I
look
see,
at it.
right. Yeah, okay, so that, yeah, I guess that's fine.
If Taylor is there and there's questions, Taylor could field the questions. Yes?
I'm gonna, well,
You want
I
to be
almost
there?
don't want, no, I don't want Taylor there. I don't want questions. I want them to go in with the blue sky, see the model, and I feel like that would be more helpful than having editorialized, not that.
Why don't we just do a one pager on it? And if people come to see the model, give them like a QR code to the, we don't have to use paper, I realize. It's becoming archaic, but.
Yeah.
Questions about the project? This is how many units, this is how many floors, this is whatever.
Well, we
I
could
mean,
we can put a flyer down. I know you just said no paper, but at the table at town meeting.
That's really,
Yeah.
I mean,
town meeting members are
what do we have? Precinct 3, precinct,
4.
precinct.
6.
It'll be right next to your clickers, so everyone who comes
get
in
one.
will get it.
Would it just be, it should just be a picture of the building?
No, it will be come to the.
Come to this.
It would be an invitation to come to
No,
the.
I mean, I've heard.
Wait, can't there be a
crickets
picture of the
from-
building?
I mean,
Sure, we can put a picture of the building.
I mean, that's really what's going to get people to go.
Yeah, sure.
They're not going to read it if it's verbiage.
That's
They're not
what I
going to
mean.
read,
I
they're not
feel
going
like
to
we
look
need
at it at all.
people
I
to
mean,
know what's coming.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
about to spring this building
Right.
on them.
Except, again, that I actually showed all of town meeting an image of this building.
There should be more images than words.
But he
Image
showed,
is like-
you know, he had, you
I
know.
had an image, side by side of what exists. and what-
That, you showed it to
And there
the
should be a
audience.
headline, proposed building for Winchester.
That's what it
And
said.
And it's proposed, and there should be a picture of the building.
That's what it,
That's what I did.
Was.
I did to all of town meeting.
and that is
And
the
it's-
audience that is most likely to want to
Yeah,
engage in.
right, exactly.
I mean, you picked a great
And
group.
if no, I mean, if
they-
I mean, it's
Right, I
I
agree.
mean, people hate.
Yeah.
I hate them. Everyone hates the laundry building. Like, it's very possible that people are like, I don't care
Get rid
if
of
you
the
put the
laundry.
Chrysler building there. We'll walk around it. Get rid of the laundry building. I would like people to say that because it's a huge change to downtown. I just don't want to spring it on
Town
them.
meeting, that was a great thing to do. These are the people who are involved, that are involved enough to go to town meeting to participate.
Yeah, there is a certain number of them that treat it like church and just say their ayes and nays. You know?
I don't have
Zoning.
I don't have the bandwidth myself to prepare a flyer and schedule this stuff by Thursday because I have to get another presentation done. Is someone willing to take on that task of working with Taylor
Yeah,
and
I'll-
trying to get them?
Oh, jinx.
You want to do it?
Because we need to also schedule the date with them, so that would be tomorrow. What days can we have? What rooms can we? I mean, it's a.
Can you just give them what you,
Not gonna schedule.
give them what you did, the picture that you showed?
Yeah, I know, but but we need to.
What's your day
Before
like
we have a
tomorrow?
flyer on Thursday,
Oh, right. Oh, I
we have
see.
to actually have scheduled
The
when
review.
it's going to be.
Thursday's not good for me.
Taking my cat to the vet in the afternoon.
Okay.
which is a major.
I don't know if I needed that much detail. I think morning's good would have been fine.
So,
Letting you know what my day's like.
Okay.
so can we delegate to you to prepare that flyer and work with Taylor to work with them to come up with dates and times? And I'm willing to defer to you in 100% as far as what dates, times, locations, as long as we can announce it on Thursday at town meeting.
If things go sideways with the cat, I can take over.
Yeah, I could come in with claws all marked.
Yeah.
What's someone's last name?
Forrester.
That's it, thank you.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Well, Monday, are you guys here? You're here Mondays
Appreciate
anyway,
all.
right?
It was
Monday
only-
evenings?
Ian is.
Ian is
Yeah.
here until, so we could do a Monday evening because Ian's sort of stuck here anyway.
Do you think we get
It's
a
like,
bigger crowd?
yay.
The Mystic Valley room would be too small?
I don't think we're going to get a big crowd
We're
at all.
going to
I
get the
agree, but
same number of people.
Probably
I
the
think
same
they'll
people.
watch, but I think they'll watch the video. I think we can get people to watch
Yeah.
a section of WinCam.
Of this video that we did tonight when we.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's way more likely.
That's a good point. We put that in the flyer.
When does the
Oh, right.
WinCam video post? I don't know.
No, usually live. No, it's live now on YouTube. They're recording it live onto YouTube. And then, I mean, WinCam is amazing, by the way.
We love WinCam.
They're
Support your
recording it
local-
live onto YouTube, so you can actually watch it live. And as soon as it's done, you can actually rewind in the middle of it. So if
But
somebody's
like
watching at home tonight,
tomorrow, I mean, when
it's
not
on.
live.
It's done by
Okay, so
tomorrow.
it's already there.
It's already there.
So we just need to figure out the times
Yeah.
to
So
watch.
when's it
Watch
on
for a minute,
WinCam?
whenever to
When you go
whenever.
to WinCam to see the...
That's usually a
on
couple of
demand,
days.
That's a couple of days.
But it's immediate on YouTube these days.
Okay.
You can just
give a timestamp.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Okay, so
The only other thing, they can't say we're going to cut out a little affordable unit. That's not allowed, right?
it wouldn't be cutting, it would,
They would be cutting away from all the
we
other
should
stuff
avoid
that we-
talking about this right
I know,
now.
I know. I'm just asking, because
No,
we're really
no.
trying to vote next time. So is their solution tenable? Because I thought.
It would be
they-
cutting out an additional unit.
They haven't agreed to do anything.
But that unit
It would be an
can't-
additional unit, but that wouldn't necessarily be the affordable unit.
Got it. Okay.
I thought I heard him say
It cannot be.
It doesn't
That
work.
the
That's what I-
affordable unit has to be
Yeah, no,
done.
it's not up to him
Yeah, which units are.
which units are.
I'm sorry, what?
Units
That's why it
aren't,
didn't
it's not up to
sound
him
right
which
to me.
units are the
I
affordable.
understand. Okay,
Could be a
yeah, no,
little
I understand.
studio.
He can add a studio,
I get it.
whatever, but that wouldn't be.
I get it. No,
So-
that's sort of a negotiation. They
Yeah.
look at what's available for inventory.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve? You made some amendments. Did you do anything to the minutes? You reviewed
Yeah,
the
I
minutes?
did, but they're not ready. I mean, you guys haven't seen them yet. have you?
I saw the other minutes,
I-
not your amendments, but
I made a few changes, yeah.
You usually just need a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
that's what I was asking.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, if you trust me.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, okay, then postpone it till next week.
I move to approve the minutes as amended for October 21st.
Second?
I'm abstaining. I wasn't here.
Second?
I feel awkward making a second. Well,
I haven't had a chance to review it yet.
Okay.
Let's kick them in the
So
next
we'll kick them
meeting.
off for another week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. We will not need our time before town meeting for our next meetings. And so we scheduled at 6:30 for every night of town meeting. It's not going to be done in 2 nights. It's probably 3 or 4 nights realistically now. However, we're not going to cancel until the day of. In case something emergent comes up at town meeting, they come back and they reconsider something and we need to meet to discuss it. So don't plan on needing to be there at 6:30. Plan on not needing to be there at 6:30, but we'll cancel. We'll let you know if we need to be there.
congratulations on your election.
Thank you. It was uncontested. It was a caucus vote, and I'm very proud. No, I'm just kidding.
Any other board?
So are you on precinct
I'm
3?
now on precinct
You're
3.
a member of town meeting?
I'm a member of town meeting. I need to be reelected
So you
in
didn't
March.
have to run, have a poster?
I caucus, so the precinct voted. The precinct representatives from precinct 3
Is that
voted.
just a
But
different
there were
way
only
of-
2 open seats and 2 candidates. It would have been so
Oh,
awkward if they had decided to not vote for me.
2 open seats. Oh, okay.
The exciting part is that now my daughter will cast her first vote, and I will be on the ballot.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'm very proud of you. It's 5 of 10. Any board updates that anybody wants to share at 5 of 10?
No.
Any staff updates? There were a couple of things I feel like we talked about that were...
We'll just cover the planning board budget for FY '27 is due December 1st. That leaves us one meeting to discuss our budget.
One more barn burner.
What I will do is I will present to you our budget as it has been the last several years with incremental increases based off of some standard that the town uses. And we can review that together. Okay. What I ask is by the 18th, if there are any specific sums of money for specific projects, because we have to tell if we say it's going to be an additional $18,000 for a co-op student, we need to say exactly what it's going to be for. So if there are any projects, consultants, part-time staff, anything that you think we should be requesting, come to that meeting on the 18th with that specific monetary amount so that we can add it at that time. If we can't come to an agreement on the 18th, we'll have to have another meeting before the 1st.
Mm-hmm. That would be a Zoom meeting.
It will be a Zoom meeting. That will be tough because it will be over Thanksgiving week. So that's not a threat, but
kind of feels like a threat.
Not a threat, yeah. Is the next meeting still a Zoom meeting, or?
It is.
It is currently scheduled as a Zoom meeting. We can decide to do whatever we want.
What does the committee think about Zoom versus in person for that meeting?
This will be the vote meeting,
With the
public hearing.
public hearing, I mean,
I don't want to be berated again. Does that help?
You don't what?
I'm tired of being berated. I'm tired of
I am
getting
tired of being
yelled at.
berated as
Well,
well.
the same people.
It's light, I mean.
Yeah, it's Johnson.
That said, I think in person, I would argue that in person is preferable for these.
Yeah, in person's preferable. I like the in-person meetings.
So here's what I'll say. It's possible that this room has already been reserved because that's only 2 weeks out. If it can't be this room without this TV, without that, I think we'd better be on Zoom than being in a room
I would agree.
somewhere else. Does everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Okay. So if you can reserve this room in 2 weeks, if not, we'll just go with Zoom. As far as the budget, if we don't get the money for the GIS consultant, we should talk about whether that's something that fits into our schedule for this year to add on to our budget instead. And I don't know if we're being asked to have an austerity budget and a non-austerity budget because of the override this year. So it might be helpful if you're able to get any insight onto whether we're supposed to prepare that or whether that's coming from the town manager.
That's a great question, yeah. And one thing just to note about the GIS is that last year we did ask for $18,000 for a co-op student to do GIS work. $18,000 is a lot less than $50,000 that we're asking for, so. I'll come prepared with as much information as I can. Yeah.
And we would have gotten a lot less.
Yep.
For 18th, it costs less and we'd get less. So, I mean, it goes both ways. Any other updates? Motion to mercifully end?
So
Adjourn, I mean?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, WinCam.